I didn't choose this life.
I didn't choose this. I feel your pain. Those are awful. Yeah, I've heard about that. Yikes. I feel your pain.
We Jews, as Woody Allen once said.
We're live now.
Now, there we go.
Sorry.
Oh,
hi.
Hey.
Hey.
Well, we just wasted all of our best banter on dead air, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, guys. Yeah. Dead air. Yeah, that was like off stream, not recorded. Nothing. Or there. You guys want to start your recordings?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
3.
Wait. I have to open my Destiny.
What?
Jesus.
Oh, not yet. Okay, now.
Go.
Boom. Boom.
Well, thank you everybody for being in chat today. Coming over here for the YouTube. Vagabondo, not sure where to put his sub, but always appreciate the love. Greg Bolin, thank you for the membership. Chill Robots, thank you. Welcome back. New Rad, Don't Mask the Truth, always blowing up chat. SS Bats, Dramatic, G-Man. Just G-Man. I am G-Man.
G-Man.
Toxic Fox, Moose, Sanchez, Outsanity, of course. New Rad, holding it down, moderator style. I made you moderator? Yeah, you're a moderator. Okay. Optically Insane. Unofficially sponsored by my green screen shaker. I don't know if you guys see this. Like, it literally blends in because it's green.
It blends in, yeah.
So yeah, there's a reflective advanced GG logo in there, but that's it. It's yeah.
Oh my god, it is.
It's kind of cool, but it's kind of cool. Like,
yeah, like it works. It's just like, where is it? There's like, it's got a shadow, but it's like if you pass it in front of me, you know it's not there. But that's it.
I like that. I like that.
But I will definitely say birthday cake and lemonade, Chick-fil-A frosted lemonade. To go. It's fantastic.
You've already sold me.
I know, it's so good.
Chick-fil-A lemonade. And
it definitely doesn't. It takes the sugar-free out of that equation, but it's good. It's like dessert.
It's going down. I'm getting it.
30% off this weekend with Cody Bontis 30. All right, I'm done.
You done plugging?
No, never. I'm never done. All weekend. Use that code. Explode that code. Witch Queen Mango. That's Mango.
This advanced GG. I couldn't believe. You were so correct.
Testimonials by your co-host. You paid him off. You paid him off.
We got the bag, y'all. Look, we got the bag. We got to do what we got to do.
I mean, well, shall we actually get this thing officially started for, I have no idea how long this show is going to be, by the way, everybody. So if you're here early, you better strap in, grab a snack, get yourself a porta potty, do what you got to do to make this thing last for a little while. Because,
5-hour show with an intermission. That's my
What an intermission.
With an intermission. We're going to take a 30-minute dinner break. We will be back in approximately... No, I'm just kidding.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now be taking a 15-minute intermission.
Yo, I hate being in conference.
Please rise from your seat, grab yourself some concessions, and don't forget to use the bathroom. Thank you.
Bro, those are...
reminding me to use the bathroom. Sometimes I forget,
Yeah. Oh, my bladder's gonna explode. I should go.
Yeah, you took me to a place, Chad, with that one. Those are the worst conference calls. You're like, oh, you took me to a place. That was good. So, are we ready, sir?
I believe so. Sure. Silence on the set, and we will go in 5, 4, 3, 2.
And we are live. The last word with Lord Cognito and Ebontis and the flyest tie in the business, tie guy Travis. And it's a nice Thursday, man. A lot of Destiny news. Let's start with E. What is going on, sir?
It has been one heck of a week for Destiny. We knew it was going to be. We've been talking about it for weeks about the show, but I don't even think I expected everything that we got. And we're going to break it all down. Thoughts, opinions. It's going to be a long show. Outside of Destiny, let's see. I cooked tasty dinner over the weekend. Experimented with General Tso's chicken the first time, homemade. And then I also made the binging with Babish, like the chocolate chip cookies, but like browned butter, touch of cinnamon, more salt than you would expect. But it's like this really well balanced, like
condiments.
It's salt.
Condiment, sir.
Salt is not a condiment. That's not even close.
You actually put something to flavor your food?
What flavor? Wow. Okay. Anyways, moving on. I cooked some food this weekend. I had some tasty cookies. Travis, what you been up to, bud?
Well, my food isn't as bland and Caucasian as yours, but I also ate some good, good food this week. I'm just
Get him, get him. That was good. Get him, get him. I like that. I like that. That was a nice shot across the bar. I like that. Gotta keep Travis on his toes.
That's true. That's true. I could take as well as I give. That's right. I'm doing well, man. This has been what a week for Destiny. I'm just ecstatic with all the news that's going on. It's really all I can think about. In fact, I'm so happy about all the Destiny news. I've only had a minimal amount of time to react to all the Halo news we got this week, which is also pretty significant.
And some just dropped right now.
What?
Yes, they literally just dropped the blog right now. Literally, one of the devs just tweeted me and said, "Yeah, it's going down." So it's this week is crazy. So yeah, more multiplayer, all your stuff, multiplayer stuff and everything. So yeah, go check it out. The Halo blog is up.
How about you, Teddy? What's going on?
Nope. You gotta give it back to
got royalty. We got royalty. We don't just talk to Teddy as if he's some regular individual.
Okay.
We have to bring him in, right? Okay. Welcome to The Last Word, episode number 164. And it's a glorious Thursday. We're back in front of the campfire for some more looter-shooter discussion. I'm extremely excited about our returning guests, so we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord whose commitment to the minutiae and technical nature of the Destiny franchise is only matched by his pure passion for max triumph score and flexing as an elite controller user on PC. Introducing one of our most passionate and hardcore members of the Destiny community, an astute warlock of Clan Concern, our fellow friend of Fire Team Chat, and through the law of averages, keeps his guest streak every 21 episodes intact. Live from Cali and making his rightful return at the campfire of The Last Word, my man, Lord TeasingTeddy. How we doing, sir?
Man, those never get old. Like, every time you give me one of those, I go to bed that night, and it's like the best sleep I ever get.
He's like, yeah, I just got that. I got that Cognito Valium shot and just like going into dreamland.
You stopped doing them for me, Teddy. I don't know what to tell you. I thought you'd been on the show enough that you would just stop getting them, but no, you still get them. I just every time he sees me, he's just like, "What's up, Travis?" So, so.
Don't do that. Don't do.
I hope that when I meet you in real life, eventually, you're gonna do that for me in real life. Like say you pick me up from the airport. Like, I want you to like announce me.
Announce you.
Yeah.
I want to do one for Cog. I unfortunately I didn't know Cog that well when we had him on Fireteam Chat. Otherwise, I would have definitely done that for him.
But Teddy, we have a picture. We have briefly crossed paths, sir.
That's true.
Yeah, the controller. There was GCX with E.
You didn't get an intro.
Yeah. He had the keyboard, but other than that, like, what's been going on with you, man? I know you've been busy, but what's been going on, man?
It's been going, life. I took a little break at the end of last season because there wasn't a whole lot going on, and now we're back in the new season, and it's a little bit more of the same, but a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but
yes,
just there's a lot of other stuff going on outside of this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But,
so
going.
Nice. What about this other stuff, Trav?
There's Gamescom, opening night live, so much going on. I am worried for my sanity from January 21st, February 22nd. Because there's not enough time in there to play all the things I want to play. Elden Ring.
Elden Ring?
Elden Ring is the 21st.
God. Oh no.
That's January 21st. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Before Witch Queen.
Horizon Zero Dawn is 4 days before Witch Queen.
Yikes.
And then December starts this thing we'll get to for the 30th anniversary for this. Sifu is on the 22nd, the same day as Witch Queen.
Oh, Sifu getting caught.
I was like, I know Sifu's going second place. Horizon comes out like 4 days and it's over a weekend. So I'm like, if I no life it and just take 2 weeks off of work, maybe. But I'm also trying to figure out, I haven't fully beaten Horizon Zero Dawn, so I've been waiting for my new monitor so I can experience it on PC and 4K. So when I go through and play this thing, I'm gonna do it fancy, but I'm now I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna slot it in. So No, I'm like ultra excited for everything that's coming, but I'm like, when did February become like fall of like 2008 for gaming? Is like, hey, everything comes out fall, so you can get in that Black Friday ad. Now it's like, pick a month. You never know if it's going to be insane or not. And I'm like, I don't have enough time. 48-hour stream. Just don't sleep. Tape my eyeballs open and beat Horizon Zero Dawn in a weekend. Then sleep for 24 hours.
Don't forget.
And then Witch Queen.
Don't forget, with Halo Infinite announced December 8th, to be honest, I'm worried I won't even be done with Halo in time for Witch Queen. Because Halo, for me, I mean, that used to sustain me for like years, you know, back when that was the only game I could afford. And I just can't imagine February 22nd being around and being like, oh yeah, Halo, I'm done playing that game every single day. Like, that just doesn't sound like me. So that one I'm worried about. And then put Elden Ring and all those other games on top of it. It's going to be nuts. Also, don't forget God of War. Coming out that I think it's somewhere around that window, isn't it? February?
No, that better be later.
That better be. We're hoping for a delay.
God, like they wouldn't do Horizon and God of War that close together.
Yeah,
My
they gotta
hunch,
let it breathe.
like God of War, like if they're ever waiting for anything, God of War. No, I would bet that's their holiday release to just like their banger fall.
They said spring 2022.
That's
where
it's come out in the early half.
Oh, I don't hold my breath on that one until you see more on it because Horizon got pushed. Far enough.
Yeah,
then with
I wouldn't be
COVID
surprised.
in development and COVID right now, I find it very hard to believe that they would cannibalize their release with next to Horizon Forbidden West. But we'll see what happens, man. But next year, I saw the Horizon. I was like, poor E. I was like, all his loves, his passions, all at the same time. I was like,
like Elden Ring, I am playing 100%, but that gives me a month. I'm like, I can work with a month, but man, Horizon. Only problem with Horizon is now I don't think there's anything like Breath of the Wild next to Horizon right now, so at least it's not going to get Breath of the Wild again. But still, it's like for me, again, Destiny's going to pull me away from Horizon because it did it last time.
And we saw what they got to offer, which we will talk about.
What about you guys? Like, what have you seen in Gamescom? Because I know these two other awesome gentlemen cover it a bit more. Part of the job sometimes. So what have you guys seen? Maybe didn't get, fell through the cracks a little bit. Do you like the, Forza Horizon 5 plane drop of the Bronco?
Amazing.
Actually, when that happened, so we clip out stuff during the live streams, and I was like, oh, they're just straight up taking this out of Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious,
and I'm like, oh, I get the reference. And then immediately I was like, but you can't steer the car while it's being parachuted. So how are they landing specifically where they need to land, like in the movie?
Oh, you got those little cords, just outside the window, you're pulling them.
They do it with GPS in the Fast and Furious movie if we really want to go there. So
is that
GPS coordinate? Yeah, that's how they do it in the movie.
Yeah. But how is the car like? There's like air and wind and other factors.
It's the parachute is basically like aiming for a spot.
I was gonna say they went to space. They put little like Star Trek thrusters on this thing, so it's automatically adjusting the entire way down, and then it lands perfectly.
Also, spoilers, bro. That movie's still pretty new. Just gonna talk about that already. Damn.
I'm pretty sure that's in the trailer or something. Like
it's not.
I swear, I thought
they held it back. They held it back.
I heard it for the longest time, so I was like, when are they?
Yeah,
so finally,
there were rumors.
It's on video now. I think we're okay. So
that's true.
Video. What even is video now?
Home release is what they call it.
Yeah, home release. That's fair. I still remember when I used to order movies on Amazon, and every so often, like the delivery cycle would get, and I would get one like a day early, and I'd like be excited because I got like a Marvel movie a day or something. Like I got a big release. Like I got it like on Thursday instead of Friday when it's supposed to be delivered. I was freaking out. I was like, yeah. Like I made it through.
Some of us used to walk to Blockbuster and have to go physically get the movie.
Yeah, done that too. Browsing the aisles, taking the game that you want.
Video.
Hollywood, taking the game that you want, hiding it behind another game. So if you come back 3 days later, you're like, yeah, I want this one to be here, but I can't get 2 games right now. I can only get 1. So I'm going to stick this one behind like the 90s bad, B movie over here in this section.
Rental culture. The good old days.
We're all too old. That's all.
All of us started putting envelopes in the mail.
Remember that was an option. Yeah. That was an option.
That's still an option, apparently.
Really?
They still have that model. Yeah, a lot of their a lot of their stuff, if you look at the stream, if they don't have it, they'll be like, this is available via our physical disc service, and they'll try to get you to do that. But it's like a separate.
Wow.
You have to.
Yeah, it's a
pay
little
for,
bit of
like,
an
a separate
upcharge. It's
service
not.
for it.
Yeah, taking me back.
My
man.
wife's parents had that for the longest time. After like, I mean, I used it for a while, but my wife's parents had that for so long. We'd go up there and be like, what is this Netflix disc doing? Why do you have this? And it's like a couple years ago, like, is this still a thing? But they're like, yep, sure enough.
Yeah, I didn't know it still existed.
Redbox, dude. That one is bizarre to me. The Redbox
Mhm.
in like the grocery store.
See, that one I actually use because
you use that.
Well, there's like a Walmart neighborhood market like literally 3 minutes up the road from me, and every so often, if I just want I want a Blu-ray disc for something, I'm like, it might be like Nobody. I didn't see it in theaters, but like something a little more action. And I'm like, I want the disc for a little higher quality. I'll be like, I'll just pop up there. It's like $1.25 at amount. It's cheaper than streaming, and it's going to be better quality. Yeah, what's up?
Can I ask you a question that's probably going to make me seem like a San Francisco elitist?
I mean, probably.
What is a Walmart neighborhood market?
So basically, take Walmart. If you do you know what a Walmart Supercenter is?
No.
He wouldn't
Walmart
know.
is actually banned in the San Francisco area.
Okay, fair enough.
That's
for like union busting reasons. And stuff.
Gotcha. Yep.
So, I mean, Walmart generally you picture it's just kind of like a mix all of everything, but not a major grocery section. Well, Walmart Supercenter is like half grocery, half Walmart for like automotive goods, sporting, a mix of everything. If you take out the other stuff it's basically like a Walmart grocery store. It's like a grocery store with a Walmart label, pretty much.
Gotcha. Yep. Makes sense.
It doesn't have all the other stuff.
It's grocery focused Walmart, like dope Massachusetts.
But it's also a way for like Walmart to put their brand probably like right next to like a residential area and houses where you can't probably plant, a commercial building. It's more of a grocery store for proximity. So gets away with both. And every so often there's like one thing that they'll have, and I'm like, it's kind of nice that it's still there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Salute.
Yeah, joys of living in the Dallas suburbs. There's a whole lot of random crap around here. What are you going to do? But I kind of was going to go back to the question for Gamescom. What did you guys see over the course of this past, like, kind of 48 hours of insanity? What else have you guys seen besides Destiny, which we're going to talk about? What else have you guys seen that has you guys pumped?
Any standouts?
I think
Halo, obviously. I think. Sorry, I had to.
He asks for the stuff we haven't heard of, and you lead with Halo. I love that.
There was nothing really. I don't know. There wasn't a whole lot. There was a couple things that were on Jeff's stage that caught my eye. I don't know the names specifically, but they were kind of like minor. Not indie per se, but like minor. I have to go back. When we're clipping stuff out, everything's happening so fast, so sometimes like I don't get a chance to actually like see the thing. Like I'm just listening occasionally to it, and then that's it. So I'd have to go back.
Saints Row was a big one.
I never cared about that.
Didn't care about that. They did a Far Cry 6 thing, which I think was like one of their longer trailers.
We got the legendary man with the million in the chat right now.
Yeah,
Call of Duty actually looked pretty good.
You get there.
Oh.
Shout out, by the way, quick shout out to Rand Al Thor in chat. Thank you very much, sir, for the $5 super chat. Gentlemen, there's something to the Bungie 30th anniversary being on December 7th, and then the very next day, Halo Infinite launches. Was this planned? You guys have thoughts for the Halo experts?
IGN Zone, Travis.
So, yeah, here we go. We actually talked about this on Fireteam Chat, and Paul Tassi and I talked about it off there. And apparently we have some industry anonymous confirmation that Destiny was in talks with the 343 team. Bungie and 343 were talking about Halo. That was confirmed. However, the talks sort of basically they didn't fall through. They just didn't make it in time, and then that stuff didn't happen. So the Halo stuff that's in the 30th anniversary is like alluding to Halo, but it's not Halo specific. Like the armor has like some needler.
I saw the needler armor.
That's it. Like there's no like Master Chief armor, and I don't think the exotic Magnum is making it that time. So I think maybe the reason that the timing matches up is because they were going for something like that. But from what I've heard, both from Paul and from my own sources, is that didn't come together. So
gotcha. What if it's a development thing too? Because we do know with 343. Obviously, the co-op campaign got cut, the Forge got cut.
I was
they're trying to get this thing across the finish line as much as possible. So I wonder with development, those initial plans just kind of had to fall by the wayside to me. But I do find it interesting that December lined up with, Bungie anniversary, Halo anniversary, and the fact that, it doesn't look like Halo is going to miss 2021. Like Halo's coming out regardless. So it was interesting.
That's kind of what I've said. Like I was talking to one or two on Twitter, and basically it seems more and more like somewhere somebody said just like Halo, like something is happening Halo related in 21. Whatever you've got, we're taking it, and then you can do what you want to do with the rest. But it's just like however far up it went, somebody was like, something Halo is this year, like make it happen. So that's one of those, because it seems like, you've heard the backlash, like co-op campaign or not, and I'm like, I'm gonna play everything solo, but I know it's also in this that like a lot of people of the generation who want Halo also played it co-op, and then Forge can be a big thing for the life of the game 6 months later. You hear all these debates and everything, but it's like. Then when you see like little things here and there, it's like, then when you see it's December and people worried about Call of Duty in November and stuff like that, it's like, they're just trying to make 21 on the end of that date. It seems like at this point.
I agree. Teddy, you was going to say something, like you was ready to say something.
I guess before we continue,
yes.
What is the policy regarding the all but confirmed leaks that have come out with Destiny that
the paste bin?
Yeah, can we talk about that on this podcast?
You guys saw. I got.
If you want to do any leaks, we would put them towards the very, very end, please.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just won't reference anything.
Yeah, we'll talk paste bin at the end. But I
although Teddy, I don't really trust the paste bin anymore because like half of that was wrong.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, a lot of it was wrong.
There was a lot right. There was a lot right, but there was a lot wrong.
There was a lot right, but there was a lot wrong.
And New Rad's in there.
There was a lot wrong.
Fake
look at New Rad. I got New Rad. He like fake.
New Rad's like fake.
His first favorite word is fake in the leaks. But nah, shout out. Shout out to New Rad. There was a lot wrong there, but I got to come for him on something else later. We should get into the story.
Sus.
Exactly.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Sus.
He's mine. Stay right there with that energy, sir. I've been waiting for you. Continue.
No, I was just gonna say it's been a very exciting couple of days between gaming announcements, game trailers. By the way, anybody else like insanely kind of blown away for Black Myth Wukong?
Oh,
just me.
Yeah, no, bro. I've been on that train for.
Now, are you gonna play it?
Yeah, no, that's the one I'm gonna do. That as far as the Dark Souls, whatever, because of the mythology, and you know me, the ninja. You know how I get down, and they're gonna sucker me into that one because that one, it is gorgeous.
See, this is the thing you must stream on Iron.
See, seriously. Why you want to see my pain though? See, I want to suffer in silence. No, no one sees.
You suffer in public. Everybody's like, "Oh, this is the glowing face of not the cognito." Like, son of a. We need to see the other side.
See stress and blood.
Yeah, a little bit.
Nah, man.
At least come over.
No, I'm gonna say I want to see if you want to see. This is gonna go back to what we talked about on Twitter. If you want to see people struggle doing 50 Vault of Glasses and not getting Vex, I want to see you struggle playing a Souls game publicly.
They've seen me struggle not getting Vex. And that's enough pain. I don't put Teddy through pain. I don't put Travis through pain. No one needs to see my pain in this game. I'll gladly watch you though. I'll gladly watch you. You're
what do you mean? You make me listen to you talking about how Warlocks are good all the time. You don't think that doesn't give me pain?
Teddy's over there like, whoa!
I got my man Teddy with me. I'm good right now.
Both of you.
They're the best.
Oh, there was a Midnight Suns game at Gamescom.
Yes, Midnight Suns. Yes.
What is that like a XCOM with a different XCOM with like a different twist?
It's a turn-based RPG that apparently does not have a lot in common with XCOM. It's not like a grid-based. It's a turn-based RPG. And the interesting thing was they said that you like build relationships with the characters. So it sounds like it has like a Mass Effect 2 dating sim kind of like element to it, which like that's kind of dope to be honest. Like Marvel characters you can choose to work with. I'm down with that.
Listen, I knew it. I kind of knew the rumors were happening, so that was it. A little indie one. It was like Midnight Express something that looked really cool. Obviously, the big stuff that got announced. I'm not the biggest Saints Row guy, but I was like, okay, I've seen that. And Halo. I mean, we got the date. I don't know why Xbox didn't release that on their show, but that's another.
Okay.
Or at least just be like, hey, and tune
Hey,
into
tune into
Jeff's show.
tomorrow to
That's-
Jeff's show.
Yeah.
Like, this is
That
your biggest franchise,
Right.
and you not choose to mention it on your. But they want to show us trebuchets, and the History Channel on their
I
show.
haven't played Age of Empires in so long, but I heard they talked about that for so long. I'm like, what? What are you doing with your time? Like, this is a weird.
I actually appreciated that, to be honest, because Xbox has always been like more community focused than other developers. Where like they want to be a part of like E3 and like be a pillar in it, and they want to like be featured at the Game Awards, and they want to be featured at Gamescom's like opening night. And then I think they're using their own separate shows to do like deep dives on their games for people who care enough, right? But on like the big stages, Xbox has shown that like they want to be there and participate and like give a little bit of their coverage to those events. So I get what they did. Like they saved the Halo reveal for the bigger show, which was
it was a business decision. I understand it. Like I said, it was just surprising. Like Teddy said, no mention. Like, hey,
Tune
if
in
you
tomorrow and show like the
Yeah.
helmet. That's literally all they had to do.
That's
Is
all
like
they gotta do.
hype, like
hype, and then bridge it. Just bridge it. But to leave people who just was looking for that a little.
There was like there was like 24 hours of like okay, got it. Like
Halo,
yeah, agreed.
Yeah, someone that works in production occasionally when we have events, like that's something that you like normally would do, right? You know, the toss or the tune in later so you keep your audience engaged.
Call to action.
Yeah,
and they just didn't. It's just weird. Not even like
it
on
was
social
weird.
media.
Now, what I did hear, Teddy, was that that was pre-recorded. That show was like pre-recorded. Yeah, so that may have been, that's the only, but still. I still feel it's on them social media wise or whatever wise
You
to
literally
let people
tuck
know.
something at the end where it's like, hey, one more.
Yeah, something. You got to
it's like edit the last little thing, be like, tune in tomorrow and just like show a ring. Whatever. It's the tiniest little thing and people blow their minds. Like, that's not that hard.
I'm with y'all.
So
I actually also was excited for Death Stranding too. That Elite controller does look cool.
How many of you guys did you guys get like 7 of those controllers or something?
Bro, it was so bad. It was so bad. We did a live stream, and when they announced it, I stopped talking to the people, and I was doing the Teddy. I had all the websites up. I was determined. I completely disconnected mentally from a live stream with fans to focus on getting it, and I got it. So I'm good now.
Did you get a second Series X as well?
I wanted it, but I couldn't justify it. I was like, Cog, stop, Cog. Like it's literally.
Teddy,
like,
how many did you get?
One of each.
Respect.
But I'll probably give the console to my brother because he's more of a Halo fan than I am. But also, I kind of feel it's a little bit scummy for them to release a custom console 1 year after the launch when like clearly this game was supposed to come out last year. So like the business side of me thinks that this was already made and this has just been sitting in a warehouse somewhere, or at least they already had the design. And I'm like, well, okay, I already bought the console, man. If they had told me last year this was coming out, just don't even show it. Just tell me there's going to be a Halo console. I wouldn't have bought an Xbox Series X. I would just wait. So that kind of sucks, but otherwise the console looks amazing.
The console
is it $50 more for anything, or is it just $50?
You get the game.
Okay, that's fair. If it's $50 more for the game, that's the deal. That's fine.
Yeah, you're technically just paying for the game at that point, assuming you can get one. Because
I think that this console wouldn't have happened without the delay, Teddy. Because I don't think you released I don't think you released a special edition of the console because remember, Halo was supposed to be a launch release for the Series X, and I don't think they would have launched with a special edition of the Xbox. So I think it was like, oh well, we're gonna wait another year.
In normal times, they might have done like a limited run, but if like with all the restrictions and supply chains
at launch,
they did the Project Scorpio.
Yeah,
I mean it wasn't like a
because I have the day one Xbox One, like literally it says day one on the controller. I have that one.
Yeah,
day one
that's
Xbox One.
Yeah, that's I wouldn't say that's like a special edition, but I get your point.
I mean neither of them are.
Yeah. I think it probably wouldn't have happened.
But like with the limits of like nobody can get their hands on consoles, so they just probably like buy whatever you can buy. Yeah.
I mean, Phil Spencer, at least in a couple interviews, has been pretty honest about how involved Microsoft has been in the supply chain, which is something that normally they don't directly deal with, and B, they don't also talk about. But because of all the limitations and all the shortages and everything, which are going to continue into 2023 or 2022, then yeah,
Teddy,
it's just
people are talking in the comments about the Elite controller and the reliability issues, and I know you and I have had really long heart-to-hearts, so maybe we should say as a PSA to the people in the comments about the Elite controllers and the proper way to manage your relationship with your Elite controller.
Well, so here's the thing. Every time I pick up my controller before I play, I wash my hands and I clean the controller. I've been doing this for years because I absolutely hate gunky controllers. It drives me up the wall. And
how would you rate the controllers at my home that you use?
Very clean.
Exactly, because we
just like mine.
care about our hardware and we clean it regularly. But
And
more important than that, the Elite series, even the 2, do have problems because there's so many moving parts and replaceable bits.
So the only issue I've had with mine, the Series 1, I had issues with the sticks drifting after a while, but I always had the Best Buy warranty, so it was really easy.
Oh yeah, smart man.
Yeah. I worked there, so the warranty was like $2.
Oh, it's the greatest.
Yeah, it was so dumb. There was even at one point I replaced it on the first year, 364th day. Nothing was wrong with it. I was like, I might as well just replace it and get another one because the warranty was only like $2. It was like right before I quit, and then the Series 2 came out. But to answer your question, the only problem I've had with the Series 2 specifically, because I just replaced my first one, was one of the bumpers would not click fully, and it was really annoying in Destiny. So what I ended up doing was I actually mapped my super to double press the other bumper instead of having to press both bumpers, because what was happening was I pressed both and then it would do my melee or my grenade. It wouldn't do the thing. And now I've actually adopted that usage now that we have like full remapping and everything, which we can get into later. But that's the only issue I've had with the Series 2. I have heard of other more technical issues that people have had, and they seem like they're legitimate hardware issues. It's not like user error or user usage. And I don't know if they've issued a revision without telling anyone, because they do that over time. They did with the Series 1 as well. There's multiple revisions of it. Or they haven't really commented.
I can tell you all the issues I've had with the Series 2 have been pretty minor, but when they do happen, I just turn it in for a new one on Best Buy, because I think that's the problem people make is they buy it and it comes with a 90-day warranty, which is ridiculous on a $200 item. And then when it inevitably breaks, 5 or 6 months later or years later, people get really pissed off. And I just say, dude, just buy a Best Buy warranty. Get the warranty, it's fully covered. And then what I do is anytime I have an issue, even if it's tiny, I turn it in and I buy a new warranty for $30. And I just keep it going. Anytime it breaks, you just pay a little $30 and keep it going. So my recommendation is
Best Buy's got a racket going.
Wash your hands, wash the controller, and buy the warranty, because honestly the warranty that ships with it is not good enough.
We're gonna need to get you guys like disassembly kits, send that thing through a dishwasher for a deep clean, put it back together every 6 months, reassemble and clear. I joke about the dishwasher, but I heard you can actually put keyboards in there.
You can. Most keyboards you can put in your dishwasher and they'll usually be fine.
Yeah, that cracked me up one time. I haven't done it yet, but I heard that was a real thing. But there's this other game.
It's a game, I think, out, right?
I'm gonna have time. I'm gonna put a little intro to this one and be like, about 30 minutes in, we get to Destiny, but we had the crew, we had to catch up. Told you guys this was gonna be a long freaking show. Witch Queen. Sorry. We have the reveal for so much, and honestly, they started the day before with the little baby 15-second trailer of Savathun talking, and we actually get to hear Savathun talking, which is really, really cool. But before I go through all of the nitty-gritty of everything that we know about the Witch Queen so far, just basically want to get everybody's thoughts about high level. Don't go too nitty on anything. Teddy first, just like level your level when you were done with the showcase. Where were you at?
Overall, pretty excited. As we kind of alluded to earlier, because of the leak, most of the stuff we kind of got confirmed. So I already knew what was coming, but it was cool to actually see it, because it's one thing to read it on a piece of paper or a digital screen, and then it's another to actually see, because Bungie's world building is just and their world artists are just so incredible, and it just looks awesome. Like, it gives me Taken King vibes. Like, it's the same feeling I got with Taken King. Not because it's Hive related, but just like the sheer scale of it, and also the gravity of what's happening is also kind of that Taken King level. Like, we haven't really gotten that since Taken King. Forsaken was kind of close, but overall, very happy, very excited. I am also pleasantly happy that the season is extended. I would have totally been fine if the anniversary stuff didn't come and they just gave us like a month or two to kind of chill.
Yep.
But that's even better too. Like, cool. But yeah, very excited. Probably like a 9 in terms of like hype.
Nice.
Travis, where you at? Or where were you? I guess Tuesday.
I still am there, man. I haven't left. I'm very excited. I'm both excited about the stuff that they've already changed in the game, like the fact that having infinite primary ammo has completely changed Destiny. Way, honestly. Stuff like that, and then also just for not just the stuff we saw for Witch Queen and for the 30th anniversary, the stuff that we're getting soon, but the stuff that they told us about, like the final shape and all of the stuff that they're talking about in the future, keeping Destiny going after the Darkness and Light saga. All that stuff was so super, super awesome. So I'm definitely at a 9. The only reason I'm not a 10 is because the leaks sort of took a little bit of the wind out of the sail. Yeah. And in some areas, I have more questions than answers, and not in a good way, like Trials matchmaking, which I
listened to Fire Team chat, so yeah, we'll get to that.
I'm still a skeptic about Trials, but we can talk about that later.
Travis and his skepticism.
I've had a lot of thoughts about that.
The ninja, where was the ninja? Did the ninja take off the mask and reveal his true feelings?
It was a live stream. It was, listen, I said coming in, I'm not tempering expectation, because one thing I've learned with being loyal to this damn game is when their back is against the wall, they always deliver. We have to give them that. And, you know, everybody's like, yo, the pressure's on. He's like, yo, we have to temper. No, I had faith. And boy, they exceeded my expectation. Just for that trailer alone, I thought, I forgot the actress, Deborah something, very, very cold, very, very chilling. And I love the line. She was like, you know, where's your truth now? And when you saw the Hive ghosts come in, I'm like, oh no, this is disrespectful. I don't believe they're doing this. They have the light. Like, it was chilling. The cinematic was amazing. The musical choice was amazing. The disrespect of Hive using our powers against us in some classes was absolutely like, wow, I can't believe they're doing it. Again, the marketing team needs to literally get a raise. Like, they are the backbone of this game. Like, anybody who watches trailers, besides don't get me wrong, the weapon design team, the gunplay, we get it, but nothing gets the juices flowing than a Destiny trailer. Even on a whack season, watch the trailer and you'll be like, yo, I'm kind of hyped just to see what's gonna happen.
Season of the unworthy, we joke about, but season of the worthy trailer, they loved it.
They loved it. They always do it, whether it be like I said, the dramatic, you know, anchor to it, and like Teddy said, it was like you feel that Taken King vibe, like you feel fear again. Like, it is something about the only concern I have with them long term is just that, like, the Hive is such a good enemy type, a good race to invoke fear and bless you, and evoke fear and to really get emotion out. Like when she jumped out she did the spider wing thing.
Yeah,
bro, I was just like, yo, I need that wallpaper, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like, so again, my only concern is just like, in future, can they ever get anything to match the Hive and how that makes you feel? You know what I mean? In general, as an enemy type and stuff like that. But it was phenomenal. We'll get into the details, the nitty gritty and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, just a trailer and everything announced was phenomenal. But where were you? What was going on?
My tempering of expectations went completely out the window the day before with the 15 seconds.
I saw you.
The 15 seconds, I was like, holy dude. I was like, I threw it all. I was like, nah, I'm here. I'm ready. And then on my live stream, I was just like, yo, what? I probably was like, my wife was like, I heard you yelling a couple times. I'm like, sorry. So yeah, I live streamed the whole thing. Shout out to like the 200 people that were in my live stream that day. Like all of you guys were fantastic. No, that was so much more than I expected. I've heard little bits and pieces from leaks here and there. Things get tossed around. I don't try and dodge everything, but I try and dodge some. And we expected obviously something, a new destination. But what? Everybody's like, Old Chicago. Is this the rumor? You can kind of see where Old Chicago might have tied into where we're going. That's like a thing we'll get to in a little bit. But the way, as you said, they twisted it on its head. And I think we'll get into why we have Hive that can do what they can do. But also why we don't have something a lot of people expected in the category of the green color. Well, we don't have something like all of these things we figured out in the last like 48 hours have been crazy, but they made the absolute best of any like, hey, this situation might not be the best thing to do right now. Doesn't really matter. They turned it on its head and we're like, let's have a whole lot of fun with this one and just completely flip. So no, I love hearing like the voice actress for Savathun. Can't wait to hear more there. Just the way it's like spoken, and you actually see
you hear her in this season too, and she's great.
Oh yeah,
she's great.
Which is
Great.
did not expect that one to get to. But just overall, I mean, when I got done, I lost my mind. I'm probably out of 9 as well because I'm with you guys on like questions of things. One of mine is a giant missing factor, which I'll get to where I'm missing something, but we'll get to that.
Vapor.
What?
Vapor. The new element that was heavily.
I mean, like, you know, corrosion or green or whatever. No, not even that. No, mine's a very simple thing that I've talked about before, but we'll get to that. But I would definitely say, like, when it comes to this reveal, like the CG trailer, the discussion they had, the hype of just everybody in the studio talking. Shout out to everybody on stage. Shout out to Tom Farnsworth and stuff that was up there. Joe. I'm missing all the names. Those are the ones that just pop into my head, but all of them did so well. What's up?
Also, we forgot to me, which was really cool. And
the pre-show.
The pre-show. Because like that was such a cool touch. And very emotional. Like I was just like, wow, they didn't have to do that. And when obviously our names didn't call, but I just know what it feels like to see as a content creator, like to see your name like that hits hard, man. That salute to them for that, because it almost took me back to booting up Destiny 2 vanilla for the first time. Yeah. And you see your previous raids that you completed, the names of the fire team members. And for me, it was emotional because, some, God bless, had passed away. And I remember, I'm like, wow, I did that raid, my homie Whiskey. Wow, I did King's Fall with this person. Like just seeing old names, stuff like that. So I love when they do these kind of callbacks. And for this stream to celebrate the community in the way they did was a beautiful touch. And obviously, Halo Anniversary. I ain't gonna lie, there was a lot of times, where your boy was like, damn.
Like, excuse me, there's a bug in my. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like you damn. I've been through this game so long, and to see them pay it forward was just well done. The touches, the music. We even see the young Deej in there. Remember, we see the baby face Deej. We like, wow, this was Deej back in the day. Like, phenomenal job. The feels were on full display, and I don't want to not mention that because they deserve a lot of credit for that one.
Oh, it's like that's something to point out because over the course of E3s and other things, I think somebody was like, "Hey, we can do a pre-show just to hype up marketing numbers." I'm like, that's kind of what that was. It's like you have a pre-show. I'm like, what is the pre? Is it going to be an hour of like looking at screenshots or little animations and stuff like that? And it's like, I know other companies are like, "Hey, it's not a." It's a marketing thing, but I'm like, yeah, you boosted your numbers for the last 6 hours before you show us the 20-minute trailer. They took that time. For one, they made it only an hour, and two, they made like the absolute, like they did something special with that, which I really liked how they took what probably was a bit of a marketing build up the numbers for the reveal, but did a really, really cool thing for the community, which again shows you said they got marketing, they've got awesome developers, like artists and everything, but the way they handle their community is still second to none.
Yeah,
it's
second to none.
Impressive.
Yeah, second to none, for sure.
The Jason Jones interview was the highlight for me.
That was really cool.
That conversation, the moment where he talks about hearing those Halo players on the bus and hearing them talk about like how they were admitting that they liked each other through the game as like a way to express the strength of their friendship, I was just like, damn, like that's powerful. Like he's like realizing all his energy and the pursuit of his life through like these other people. And I can, I'm like I'm a game master, so like I've created moments like that where like my players have just like had a life-changing experience and talk about it, and like I know that feeling, like that feeling of like I help bring these people together, like that's
I know what you mean.
for them. It's super powerful. So yeah, I guess all content creators have probably experienced something like that, right? So I'm sure everyone in this chat has felt that way. But
no doubt.
Yeah, that was super powerful for me just seeing that. And good on him, man. Bungie's awesome. Happy 30th.
It's also rare that he does an interview. He's pretty
yes.
Pete Parsons even less.
Yeah, Pete Parsons even less.
Did you see the one? There were 2 words from Pete Parsons, and I appreciated them.
They were great words. Yeah, great words. I loved it.
Ryan McCaffrey has an interview with that guy, so
I might have to dig for that one then.
It's like one of his only interviews publicly.
The legend.
Ryan gets, man, give him a high five because he gets, and I always like Ryan's styles, questions, research. He goes into every one of those that I've listened to. Well, just each one's well done. Yeah.
Unfiltered,
extremely well
Unfiltered
done.
is one of the best
things
yes
ever, and it doesn't get the credit it deserves. I feel it pisses me off because what he does, like I said, he's been doing it for so long. We need to give him his flowers while he's here.
It's a passion project for him.
Yes,
at IGN.
Yeah.
It's not it's not necessarily like a top performing
thing. I agree.
I'm glad he gets to, because it's worth listening to.
Yes,
it's very good.
But I'm going to be reading some of this verbatim because I don't want to mess it up, but we're going to go through all the details of the big Witch Queen website now and talk about this in pieces. Obviously, the Survive the Truth is the big name of the reveal. Sister of Shapes. Survive the Truth? Honestly, like, we'll get to that in Season of the Lost, I think. But, I mean, what do you think it means? I guess we'll start there. Survive the Truth.
I think the truth is that humans aren't special. And I think that the Traveler is going to willingly give the light to the Hive. That's what the truth is. I think the truth is that the Traveler's a morally gray character and sort of just gives the light to anybody who proves themselves worthy and doesn't really care about who's on the side of good or not. And I think that's be the truth of that season. That's what I think it is. Just totally.
So it's going to be Season of the Truth.
I think it'll probably be Season of the Witch Queen or something, lame like that. But yeah, my guess is that the truth is that just if you listen to her monologue again with the idea in mind. That,
good point.
She didn't do this by like taking it. She did it just by like she almost brought us low by showing that the Hive could be just as worthy. The only thing keeping them from doing it was that they're packed with the worms and the darkness and all that. So that's just my theory based on the way that she's been speaking to us, is that she has a plan, and her plan is to almost like bring Guardians down to her level, right? And be like, yo, like, and we could be bearers of the light too. And I think that's like a powerful message of like realizing that we're not special. That's my theory.
It's kind of fine. Teddy, what you think? Teddy, what you think, man?
So they've been hinting for quite a while now, since like after Forsaken, that the line they keep repeating is the line between light and dark is very thin, and we've kind of seen that now with Beyond Light, where we've crossed over, and so I think, to Travis's point, I think the Traveler, it is very ambiguous, and we've just always assumed that like, oh, the Traveler's, it's the light, it's this. It's all good, it's all knowing, but it's really not. It's just kind of picked us out of convenience because we happen to be where the last stand was taken, during the collapse or whatever.
And it tried to leave us. Let's not forget.
It did try to leave, and Gaul was the reason that it didn't leave. And then it was reawoken or whatever, and that's what set off all the events that's been happening since the beginning of G2.
Yep.
I do think that with Savathun, she's trying to somehow rid herself of the burden that Hive face, which is this constant need to feed their work. I believe there was some text either from Oryx or Zivo Wrath that also kind of hints at this, where they don't view it as like this power, but more of it's a
Burden.
curse.
Yeah.
And her being the sort of cunning, the intellect
Mhm.
of the three, I feel like that is ultimately her goal. And so this truth thing that she's trying, what Travis said, that she's trying to make us face is that once she maybe, I don't know, potentially gets rid of that that burden, then she's open to or able to accept the light. Or maybe she'll trick the traveler. I don't know.
Right.
That could be the other option as far as
I think she's
but I
tricking
do that.
us. I think the traveler's going to
Well,
do
yeah.
it on his own. That's my
Right.
theory. But
yeah, I just lost my train of thought.
Peace, Travis.
You're good. You're good.
I think that they I forgot.
You're good, bro.
No, you're good.
I was gonna say something about like how she wants us to believe one thing but not, but I totally forgot the point I was
But I mean,
making.
she is in general for this entire franchise been kind of the behind the scenes puppet master of deception. That's her whole setting up the dominoes to fall, playing with Osiris and using that character of power to do things. But then she tells you what she did with, I did good. All the stuff that we got in this like first 5 seconds of this season has been like, oh, but all these things we get about her are very interesting. But again, she's very, very deceptive in everything that she does. So how can you really believe what's going on? And this season that we're currently in now, which we'll talk about a little bit later, is weird because what we're doing now and what we see her as, we're getting to
that.
We're going there. There's a lot that has to happen to get there for her to be in that state. So it's like I get why the reveal of Season of the Lost and the two had to happen together now. Because like if you showed one, you're like, well, and it's like now we're in the season that we're in. So I kind of figured that's how it was going to be. We talked about that. I knew they had to have some connection. It's very, very big connection at this point. But I mean, as for Survive the Truth, I'm still wondering, as you guys are saying, what's up with the light? And we'll get into that because the light is, what is the line? Something so very thin. Oh, the
line between light and dark.
Light and dark is very thin.
Right. And that's, I mean, we got Stasis, which is like, okay, we got that from the pyramid ships, but she was trying that. Now it's like, well, she was like, I was trying to protect you from working with them. And then we did that. And then the Tree of Silver Wings and all, just all of the stuff that's been building. I'm like, they're on the precipice of something really amazing. And I just can't wait until we get there. So overall, I think
we'll get there this season too. I think before the season's up, the transformation is complete for the at the very least, like something's got to happen, because I don't know how much cinematic we're going to get when the Witch Queen opens. I feel like this is their opportunity to tell the story, and so that when you get to the Witch Queen, you just sort of get to jump right into whatever that conflict is. I hope that's what happens.
Yeah, and then we still have the the Xivu Arath situation, right? We still have to get clarity with that, which is a sister, and I don't know if we go on with Season of Lost right now. I don't want to get too far with it, but
it's kind of overlapping, which is hard. So I mean,
I was
like, I'm trying to keep them separate and go through Witch Queen stuff. But I mean, if we're in the lore bit, you can talk about it, because I mean, Season of the Lost is what it is right now because of that, and that's why it's a giant question for me. Is like, how do we get to there because of Xivu doing what she's doing right now?
And to me, it feels like this, sibling power struggle and the manipulation of Savathun to Tamara, to get her to do so. To me, the way I view Savathun so far is, using things for everything is a means to an end. Like every thing she comes in contact with, for some, in my opinion, it feels like to utilize to get somewhere to the next with that end game, maybe what we saw with the Witch Queen reveal, right? So which is them receiving the light. But I like Travis's thought, which is about the whole, the morality of the traveler, right? Which is maybe there is none. You know what I'm saying? It's its own. It's this, like you said, morally gray area, because the Fallen had it at one point, right? The Fallen were wielders of the light, Elixir and stuff like that. So it is very interesting to see where they're going. I like that theory by Travis. I'm very curious to see in this season narratively how that transitions in. And Oh, by the record, no more Osiris, y'all. So we're gonna stop that now. So for all the people who are
do you mean?
besmirching the
He
great
was
name,
Osiris.
the great name, it is now officially revealed with the Ooga Booga. Well, she did the Ooga Booga figures, which I liked.
I told you it was going to be
Yes,
Ooga Booga.
the
I
Ooga
told you.
Booga. And for all the people who chastise, no, Cog, it's no way. It's really him. No, the lore that was in the game literally said she was taking a form. It was hard to maintain that form, which was Osiris. The now we're doing some trade off. Supposedly, sadly, I think my man's dead. But I have to keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? She ain't. She's the witch queen of deception. My man is probably 6 feet under with no goals. It's probably a wrap, but she's gonna. Yeah, it's a wrap. So it's probably to get us to do this worm thing for her to get her ultimate goal, and then she'll probably go and betray us again and whatever. But I had to clear the air because I've been chastised. I've been abused, New Red. But many people. Hey,
Calling out my community. Damn.
Listen, I like New Red. Now, New Red's the homie. That was just
I know,
fun.
I'm messing with you.
But at the end of the day, it is interesting. And I sadly think he's going to be sacrificed. I just hope he get a nice little shout out. Maybe like a scene with Saint to see him before he goes. Maybe I get that. That's what I'm hoping for at this point. But
I hope we get the worst of both worlds. I hope not only do we not get a cool death scene, but right before he dies, he goes, "I would have betrayed if you just asked." And then he dies.
I just want one heroic last breath moment that while he's in the
him use all the supers at the same time and then go out like a blaze of glory and then die.
Yeah, go out like a G. You know what I'm saying? And maybe the weird twist about it, though, is remember his whole life went to stop Saint's death. Think about that.
And now
right?
Saint's trying to stop his.
And now, so that is a cool parallel. If they narratively want to do that, you know what I'm saying? It would be interesting, you know what I mean? Because those two have that interesting history. Like the sundial was built to break space and time to save this, to save hubby, to save the boot thing. You know what I'm saying? So it would be interesting if Saint is like, nah, we gonna do something with the sun. Like, we got to bring my Phoenix back. That would be interesting to see. But that's all I had to say.
Or if he does immortalize as a Phoenix, Phoenix could rise again. Like if they pull something crazy, they could use that like metaphor.
He ain't got no ghost.
I'm just saying, if they want to go deep into the whole Phoenix thing, that's all.
Who needs a ghost when you have a Phoenix? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'll take it.
That's Dumbledore.
You know what my question is about the lore stuff? Mm-hmm. How are we inside Savathun's throne world if her worm is dead?
Mm-hmm.
So we went into Oryx's throne world, even though we killed him in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
But he still had a worm, didn't he?
I can't remember.
Yes, isn't their connection to their worm is what gives them their ability to create a throne world? So, and that's part of why Mara is down with killing the worm, because she's like, oh, if we kill her worm, she'll be susceptible. She won't have access to her throne world. It's like, but then we saw that we're going to her throne world for the expansion. Yeah. So like, what the heck's gonna happen? I don't know.
Maybe it destabilizes over time. Well, because so the Mindbender in Forsaken had its own throne world, and that didn't have a worm.
It's true.
We got the
so does Mara, right?
Mara had her shattered throne.
Hers from a wish. She got hers from a wish, right?
But so then like Oryx found it and shattered it and all that fun stuff. But
yeah.
I just don't know enough about throne worlds, guys.
I know we need to bring Bife back.
Yeah,
we need some clarity on
episode 300. I don't know when it's gonna fall, but I'm gonna look it up.
Somebody get a Bife on speed dial here. We need
we need Bife back. We got to get Myelin.
This call is long distance.
Yeah, we got to get it all done.
So two things. I think from a lore standpoint, because if you actually read about like what Osiris has done, because in game they haven't really shown him.
Yeah, they said cool talk about it. Yep.
So I believe he's technically considered the most powerful guardian by like a lot. Like
repeat that one more time for Travis.
he's considered the most powerful guardian.
Thank you.
In
And
PvE.
he's so because they talk about
PvE only.
they talk about the Battle of Six Fronts and how he was showing up in multiple places and like doing all these super cool things, and people were like, "How is he in multiple places?" And then we find that out in Curse of Osiris, which is a terrible expansion. Just have to put that out there.
Yes.
But they do show that he's able to do that. And then secondly, to Travis's point, I just remember that there's a lore book that came out with Shadowkeep. I believe it's the Garden of Salvation lore book.
Yes.
It talks about the garden and the two like beings that are kind of like in this cosmic disagreement about the gardening or whatever it is. I'm not super prone to the details. And basically it's referring to the light and the darkness. Like it's very clear that one of these is what the Traveler is and one of them is what the darkness is. But this is like ancient, pre-existing times. And that book makes it very clear that they don't have morals or and any real like what we would consider good and bad in our.
It's a game to them. They're playing a game.
Yeah. And so I think they've done this thing in the past with lore books and grimoire cards where they've sort of given us the framework for what they're going for forward, but unless you like really deep dive into it or watch the Bite video or the Mylan video, it's kind of not like in front of you all the time. Right. And I think that's what that book is embodying what their ultimate goal is
really going for
saga, which is we're not these all powerful beings.
Question E for E and Teddy obviously. What the hell do you think the final shape is?
That name is so stupid. I'm sorry. I have to.
No, I don't like the name either. I'm gonna be honest. I'm hoping because like Lightfall stuck. I'm like, okay, I can see some dramatic name. Literally the fall. Like I get that one, but I'm like the final shape sounds like what you would have for a project title.
Yes,
not like
it's not like the code name.
Yeah, it's like Project Scorpio. It's like okay, project the final shape. I'm hoping that changes, but I'm like, what's the final shape? A circle and a triangle combined into one, a circle with little pointy bits on it. It's called a maze. It's a maze.
Actually, so two things. If you go to Sabathun right now in Mora's area, she has a triangle over, which is like the barrier that Mora put around. And if you stand at a certain angle, there's the circle behind
around. Yep.
And Destiny has this thing from the very beginning. They've very clearly thought this out, where the light is always circular. or round because that's a round object is complex, and then anything darkness related is always angular. So like motes of dark, for example, and versus motes of light are circular, motes of dark are triangles. And they've very, very clearly defined this throughout all of Destiny's existence. It's just not always like in your face, kind of. And so I think the final shape probably refers to some merging of the two, or a reveal of what the final thing is. It's definitely a metaphor. It's not actually like a physical shape.
I like the title, I'll be honest.
Really? You like that?
Because I think there's been a lot of like he said, all that stuff. I was going to bring that up of like circles versus triangles and the eternal kind of disagreement between these two like entities that are playing a game. And I think that it gives an opportunity for them to elevate the storytelling, because the way I see it is the final shape is neither of those things, and we're kind of creating our own like answer. You know what I mean? So that's just my thoughts on it. The reason I like this because the final shape sounds like something straight out of the like lore book. You know what I mean? Like that's the language that they use in the lore entries.
Well, no, Hans actually in chat says the final shape has been referenced in the lore multiple times. It's the end goal of the sword logic and the darkness to create the most simplistic universe possible.
Yeah.
So I guess we will see what the penultimate
final shape
is
referenced in a lot of the lore entries. So
well, then fine. I guess I'm just gonna embrace the final shape then. Fair enough.
Nice.
Just got to go ahead and get on board, because that's just what they're gonna call it. Sorry, Bungie. We're good. We're good. Anywho, all right. Lore speculation aside, we actually have to talk about what was in the. We're an hour in, and we haven't talked about what was actually hardly shown on screen. We've like danced around a whole bunch of stuff. But there's this little piece at the beginning. No, this show is going to be that. No question about it.
We knew what this was, y'all.
This is hashtag long point.
You knew what this is. It's a super long point with the
As Fallout would say, longer.
I know what this is.
Longer. Sister of Shapes, Swordbreaker, Witch Queen. Which of my many names live on your lips as you weave your story around me? Even as you tread carefully through my courtyard, among those who worship the light I have gifted, would you deny me the virtue of this power? Your answers are telling, Guardian. Ponder them and question those who promise you clarity in the face of all you see here. Listen as their voice wavers, as you lift your new steel from the heart of the forge. Ask yourself, what force wields you? I await you, Guardian. Step into my throne world and behold the truth. That's just the little body text that they have on the start of the Witch Queen page. Sounds really cool, and also just shout out to the writing team, killing it all the time, just setting everything up. So we got the big cinematic to open this thing up, and I think everybody's jaw was probably on the floor. They had to go pick it up afterwards with everything that we saw. Probably the biggest mind-blown thing was, first, probably the Lucent Brood. So Savathun has gifted her soldiers with the power of the light. As the night you struck down rises from the dead for the second time, a feeling of betrayal washes over you, and you can't help but wonder, when the light offers no shelter, no solace, where will you turn? And we literally get to see Hive risen by Hive ghosts from her little pool that they're all floating in. One is like a Sentinel Hive Knight where he's chunking a shield and just like destroying Guardians. There's like an arc. It looks like I thought it smashed, but I thought it was also a floating wizard, so I'm not sure about the arc one. And then, of course, there's like the Acolyte who does the throwing knives. I was just like, when you guys saw the fact that the Hive are getting light powers, thoughts? Whoever wants to go first, just dive in.
Cog.
The disrespect. It was just like it was so good, but I was just like, and I hate it was the way she said it too. She look at your truth now. Look at you now. You thought you was this, without blemish. We in our own minds think we're this purity, right? It almost reminds me a little bit of when Mithrax revealed to how like Saint 14 is looked at by the fallen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the hero of your own story. But it's just curious to me with yes. It's curious to me. That's why I cannot wait to see how this acquisition of the light happens for Savathun. Because, like Travis said, if it's something that is given, if the traveler like bestows it, like that is a slap in the face to all we currently believe, because we think we're the heroes in our story. We're the pure. Like, no. So that will be very interesting to me, how that is. But to your question overall, yes, amazing to see Hive Guardians. That great twist. And last point I'll say, and I'll give it to you, Trav, was I love the fact that not only do you gotta kill them, you actually have to finish the goal. That's funny. I was like, damn.
Finish him.
Now, the question for y'all.
Yep.
Do you think when we fight Hive Guardian, the Lucent Blue, if you don't kill the coast, can they be rezzed?
Probably.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah. It's like a zombie. You gotta burn them or shoot them in the
how
shoot
y'all
them in
think
the
the
head.
mechanic is gonna go? How y'all think the mechanic will go?
I hope you can shoot it, because if you have to run up and crush it with your hand every time, that's ridiculous.
You have to do a finishing move on those guys.
There's lore behind this that you have to kill a ghost. You can't kill a ghost with normal bullets. It has to be paracausal bullets.
Good point. I forgot about that. I forgot.
Those paracausal bullets. So, like, are the rules different for Hive Guardians, or can Guardian kill another Guardian? Like, is this like a vampire thing, or what is the Highlander? What is it? One of those ones where
there can only be one Highlander.
They can only be killed by their own kind, or whatever. One of those things. I just have a lot of questions about the lore there. But Cog, what I was gonna say is, to the point of how they get the light. My theory is that like the Traveler doesn't view us as giving us the light as a gift. To us, he's turning us into weapons that he gets. So it's like a selfish thing. Like, he'll give the light to anybody because it's not like he's giving you a weapon. It's you're the weapon, and you're defending it, right? So he's recruiting you into his armory, and it's self-indulgent. It's him gaining the power, and you're the weapon, right? And so I think that the Hive just become like another weapon that the Traveler can then wield against its enemies. And then the questions I have are like, why are we fighting the Hive then? If they're Guardians too, Shouldn't we be on the same page?
Technically, we were on the same team.
Yeah, shouldn't it be like the like is the ending of the Witch Queen going to be that we ally ourselves with the Hive?
That's where I'm going because I'm like, technically, we are all unless, which I don't think is happening. Guardians are going to get stripped like the Fallen do. I don't anticipate that happening, right?
Not for us to have a game to play. No.
Exactly.
They
For us to
already
have a
did
game
that
to
with
play.
Vanilla Destiny too. They can't do that again. Yeah.
Right. So if we're Guardians and they're Guardians, why are we fighting?
I think the answer is because of Savathun. So if we cut off the head, then it lets the rest of the Hive become our allies potentially.
But
if they're freed from the worms and they use the light and they don't have Savathun kind of pulling their strings and making them do things that we disagree with, like I could see a path where we become allies with them because I just wouldn't be surprised at this point. We're becoming allies with every other faction except the Vex, who I guess are probably beyond saving. Maybe not though. They can be reprogrammed. That happens in the movies. I don't know.
So two things. I know that they've mentioned recently that paracausal bullets have to kill ghosts, but the shot of the opening for Curse of Osiris, Sagira gets shot by like a normal goblin or minotaur or something. And she doesn't function, and then you have to do that dumb mission on the EDZ where you have to go.
But she wasn't dead though. She was just kind of like knocked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had to like re-embody her essence or something when that.
It was some weirdness.
Anyway, I didn't bring that up because
you can punch holes a few places. That's okay.
Yeah. So a point to what you said, Cog, about the line that she has in the trailer. I think ultimately at the end of the season, it's probably going to reveal that she tricks us in some way to get the light. Like I don't think the Traveler is going to give it to her willingly initially.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel too. Level.
And if you actually look at the trailer, like if you kind of freeze frame a lot of the gameplay that they're showing, we're fighting Scorn more than we're fighting actual Hive. That could just be a trailer thing, but a lot of the places they're showing where we're fighting Scorn appear to be in the Throne World. Which I thought that was interesting because the Scorn have kind of been this like they kind of exist, but they're not really up until Presage. They weren't really used for anything recent. And then Presage, they explain why that has happened, and it makes sense. But like there's
a lot of questions, man.
There's a lot going on that I want them to explain.
I also have a question about the ghosts. So if you become a guardian and you get ghosts, your ghosts look like you. So then are humans robots? Why are our ghosts robotic and the Hive get
ours come from the Traveler, and I would say the ghosts that we're seeing now are coming from like a creation of Savathun. So it's more, I would say, the ghost, and this is pure speculation out of my butt. But it seems like,
do we know what the fallen ghosts look like?
I honestly couldn't
tell you.
you.
Look like ours?
So the fallen never actually got the light. They just got the benefit of the Traveler.
You're right.
That created, they created their golden age.
Right.
Which is what happened when the Traveler would go places. The Traveler released the ghosts as a final stand against the darkness,
That's right.
which stopped the collapse, and then made the Traveler go into hibernation. And then when Gaul restrained the Traveler, that's when it became undormant again and became active, which also activated the pyramids.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm curious to see how they explain why the ghosts look like the
Hive. That. Yeah, your concern is the form that it's taken. Yeah.
Some of the human ghosts, like Osiris's ghost, doesn't look like anyone else's. It's not in the same like.
They all look like robots.
Yeah.
I still want to know what's up with.
They don't resemble humans. Like it's like, what if we had like fleshy human ghosts?
Are we ever going to get
the logic of the Hive?
The LC fish, by the way, what's up with the fish?
Oh yeah,
the
fish
ghost.
LC,
I mean,
reality's ghost.
Is that a ghost? Yeah, I don't know.
It's
not a ghost. They did state that, but we won't be able to get those maybe ever.
So she comes. This version of LC comes from a reality that the light is gone, and that's kind of their ghost, but it doesn't give her light powers, as far as we know.
Right.
She doesn't have light powers.
She has some powers, but it's not light. Because she does like the stasis slam.
Yeah.
In that cinematic where they're doing that epic fight.
Powers.
Yeah.
Oh, right, because of her reality, they used the darkness. That's right, and it corrupted them, and they all died or something. Yeah. And then we were like, "Yeah, that's fine. Let's use the darkness. This sounds great." That probably won't happen.
Yeah, Zavala doesn't like it. So.
So,
Yes.
we have new hive to
Sorry,
fight.
we fell down another rabbit hole.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
this whole thing's going to be rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole. So, hope you guys are just enjoying your ears being filled with the sounds of our wonderful voices for God knows how long. Next piece, her throne world has a very two distinct pieces to it, and this is kind of what we're tying into very old leaks. One is her throne castle, her situation, like all glorious and looks like the Shadowkeep done in white.
Yes.
Like the red castle
That's
done in white.
So I'm a Shadowkeep shirt.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
And then you've got the other side, which is like a swamp. So you've got this huge juxtaposition between like this dark, gloomy, greenish swamp and then this white and red like city that she's in. And this is her throne world. And from a distant picture, it looks like the whole thing's in this big giant tub from far away.
Yeah, like a bowl.
Yeah. I was like, so is the bowl there? Then this is on the outside. I can't quite figure out where everything's at, but I wanted to get you guys
Don't
thoughts.
forget about the pyramid ship. That's the
And
That's
the pyramid
where,
ship
and
on
that's
the
where the
side.
raid that's sitting over in the
That's where the raid
swamp,
takes place.
apparently. Yep. And that one, that's where the raid. So
which apparently is not a real pyramid because it's in her throne world.
Wait, they
that's
said
what I was
part- that's-
wondering. That's where the raid will take place in the pyramid
Unless
ship.
she
Oh,
pulled
I
a
didn't know that.
pyramid into her throne world, but yeah, it's definitely where the raid's taking place. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, they
No,
said
They
that.
confirmed that.
Yeah, they
It's
stated
on,
that.
It's on the page
Yep.
for the DLC.
So we have a pyramid ship in the swamp outside of her crazy either bowl or castle or whatever realm that she's got built. And this is her entire throne world. Do you guys like the looks of the environment? Are you kind of blown away, excited? Does it live up to what you might have thought it could have been? Also, I'm going to say it now. The big rumored leaks about old Chicago, I feel like they're like half of the area because of the swamp. Like they have like, trees and forests and swampy areas. Like I think that's literally half of the area. And then now they've gone into where this story went as opposed to Chicago. They kind of turned it into that, I think. But my thoughts aside, guys.
Yeah.
So there
Okay.
was it was yesterday or today. Somebody on Reddit pointed out that this like OG Destiny concept art for the Deepstone Crypt actually looks really similar to the like fortress thing that she's using there. And then if we want to kind of dive into the Pastebin leak for a second.
1 sec. Shout out to Jamie in chat. Oh, he just basically said Greenman Gaming has 20% off all Witch Queen content. So if you're looking for the expansion, you actually get it off. But shout out to Jamie. Thank you for the super chat.
Jamie.
$2.
Salute.
I did actually say that. I forgot about it. Anyway, back to where you were. Pastebin.
So spoilers for a second, or potential spoilers, I guess. The Pastebin link mentions that originally the destination for this was going to be a moon of Saturn. I can't remember the name, and it was supposed to be the biggest destination they were going to build, but they scrapped it in favor of this destination. So I still think Old Chicago's coming, because I think that was one of the original places they built for whatever Destiny 1 was supposed to be, and they've just shelved it for a long time. And the reason I say that is, in one of the really early Vidocs before the game came out, there's about 3 or 4 seconds of footage where they're on this hill with a bunch of trees overlooking a city. And I believe that's Chicago. That's never been used. It's not in the game anywhere. Obviously,
I can't imagine them having 2 swamp locations in the game, Teddy.
And also, you've already got EDZ and Cosmodrome. I don't think they need any more on Earth either. I guess, I don't know.
I think it's going to be a city. Like, it's going to be more city-esque versus swamp. If they ever do it. It's possible they don't.
Trav, were you happy
My
with
biggest disappointment, I'll start with the stuff that makes me sad, which is that it doesn't look like we're going to get the old Chicago vibe I was hoping for, which is like us fighting giant frogs and kind of like the weird wildlife, like a weird Western sort of vibe. It looks like instead it's just going like straight fantasy. There's a old swamp leading to a literal witch's castle, which is like, the fantasy
Hansel and Gretel
cliche. Yeah, it's like that, which I'm down with. I like the fact that it's not a real location. Like you guys said, it looks like it's in a bowl. So like, who knows how it'll show up on the director? It could just be, like a logo or whatever, but it could be, it's a pocket reality. So it doesn't really need to physically be anywhere, which I kind of like. And I also like that we can deal with some of the metaphorical stuff, right? Like it's like we can see like a monster that doesn't have to physically exist, which means that if Bungie does it right, they can have a lot of fun with different types of mobs that we fight. We could fight a literal dragon, and not just the one that we fought in the raid either. I don't think they will though. I don't think we're gonna get new mobs. I think we're gonna just get Hive that have different abilities, and maybe some Taken would be my hope. But it doesn't look like we're gonna be introduced to any like crazy new factions or any new types of monsters. At least that they've shown yet. And I think they're holding a lot off. I still think Vapor is coming with this expansion. I just think that they're not talking about it yet.
Are you talking
So
about
actually,
they confirmed that today?
They
on
confirmed
Twitch.
that today.
Yeah. So Joe Blackburn did an interview on Twitch Gaming, and there is a new subclass coming, just not with Witch Queen.
Just not with Witch Queen.
Not in year 5.
It's
They
not in
said
year 5,
Class
yes.
or power type?
damage
Power type,
type, power
no.
type. Yeah, they covered it all. It's not coming. They said it is being worked on. I'm guessing what happened with that is they worked on Stasis, released
Wasn't
it.
in the TWAB?
It was in
No,
the TWAB.
it-
I think they mentioned it in the TWAB too.
They mentioned it in TWAB too. Late.
Because
at
they
the
talk
end of
about
the
like
TWAB,
Void 3.0 in there, which we'll get to
Void 3.0,
whenever
yeah.
we get there. But yeah,
Yeah.
they did mention that it is something they're working on. But I think with as much work as they've had to do to try and get Stasis where it is, I don't think they were ready to do that all over again and
Right.
balance light, which we'll get to what's happening with those.
Yep.
But yeah, there is no green subclass coming. That has been confirmed. It is not in
Mhm.
there. So shout out to Ticuu and his corruption. You can sit on that video for like a year.
Yeah, no doubt. But I'll make it quick because I know it's a long one. I like it. I love the visual representation of the throne world. I thought it looked really majestic. To me, it was just like, the clean version of Shadowkeep. You know what I'm saying? Just, they brushed the walls down. It's all pristine. It's
Everything
very
got
glorious.
everything got power washed.
Yeah, they power washed it.
Power
They
wash
power
simulator,
washed that
Shadowkeep.
joint. You know what I'm saying? And I still like her little, angular toilet bowl. The thing that she's got going on, and I think it fits. I just like
It's
everything.
very high fantasy.
Yes, very high fantasy, and it's an elegance to it that I like too, because it's dark, but it's also like that female elegant part to it that I like. So
Well, somebody
I found
mentioned one piece with regards to the picture, the trailer of her, and it's the mention of her. The line between the light and dark is so thin, and like the right side of the screen is very light shining over here, and it's dark on the other side, and she's walking down the water in between them. And I was just like, they're more flirting with, like, as bright as her city is. Again, it's this back and forth of light and dark that they keep toying with. And you look at the picture, and I see it now. She's got like like front office on the front of the toilet bowl, and then down below you got the bridge and kind of the lower city. But it does. If fantasy is probably the perfect way to describe that, I would say, like very, very high fantasy.
I agree.
And they just basically describe it a twisted wonderland of corruption and splendor. Literally light and dark in the words there. Savathun's throne world plays host to a fragile balance of terrifying power. From the foundation of her glistening palace to the gnarling roots in the swamp, all that she hides can be found here. Seek the truth and learn that in this place, mystery makes its home in both the darkness and the light. Verbatim then. So yeah. It's going to be cool. I will be curious how big it is, how much exploration, how many secrets, I think is the biggest thing I'm looking forward to, because they showed, what looks like little platforms appearing. I think this is going to be that Dreadnought type moment.
Yeah.
That's
getting that vibe too.
Not like on an actual ship, but I think the way there were secrets, hidden things, all the random little stuff we found over time on that ship, I think are going to be the same way this throne world with all the differences, maybe abilities where you can see different things. All of what we're going to get in there, they can do it almost whatever they want in that throne world, because as you guys said, it's like a pocket reality. So there's a whole lot of things that they don't have to kind of abide by relatively normal in this game type thing. So that obviously was slightly
Speaking
large.
of high fantasy,
Yes.
they're also giving us a new weapon type that is extremely high fantasy.
Oh yeah, you're getting right to where I was going. So we got that's a segue and a half. Thank you, sir. So we've got two things. We've got the relic, which is where we're going to be doing weapon crafting, which when I heard those words, I thought they were kidding for a second. And then also we have a brand new weapon type that is a powerful melee weapon in first person, can fire projectiles and deploy an energy shield. This is like the weapon, and it's called a glaive. And it is a glaive, but it looks like a polearm with a much longer sword on it. So when it comes to weapon crafting for me, they say master the new weapon crafting system and create custom weaponry with unique custom combinations of mods, shaders, and advanced stat pools. When fighting a god, leave nothing on the table. And they mentioned in the trailer, and I haven't gone back to watch that thing like 7 times yet to really get it all. but I would definitely say like the idea of crafting weapons, whether it's trying to get what Travis was for trials, like, hey, I want to pick the perks on my weapon. And they also mentioned like leveling up your weapon as you work through it. I'm kind of curious how all of the functionality is going to work, but the idea of being able to have a little more direct path with work in a game like this is what an RPG typically would have. So the fact that we're finally getting into crafting, going after building materials, putting it together how you want to make it, have different play styles and be like, hey, you make a cool one, but I need to go make another one. You know, there's certain resources that are going to be limited. So certain things are going to be harder to do. You may get this one shot at one, but you might be able to make 6 of the other. Weapon crafting is always a really cool thing done right. So I'm really hoping, obviously, they've, they're going to think it through, but also it's Bungie. I feel like they're going to roll out a system and people are going to be like, hey, here's all these things, but this one thing's not right. But it's probably going to be too far along in development to have it quite fixed. And then we'll get that changed like 3 to 6 months later. But overall, I'm pretty hyped. The glaive, I will say, since I've let you guys all go first, I'm getting my piece out there.
Get your balls off, baby. Get your balls off.
For the glaive itself, the projectile seems cool. I don't know if I saw the shield. I didn't see as much of the combat, and I watched it once or twice. I don't know if the animations just didn't quite seem right in the moment, but the animation of like, it didn't seem like the sword's cool. Like a lot of the animations in this game are like second to none because they feel right for what you're doing. Watching it on screen didn't quite feel right from what I saw. That's just me. I like the idea of the weapon, but from what I saw, it didn't quite like the little,
person.
Yeah, I was like, poke you with a spear and it just doesn't, that doesn't quite feel right. At least they didn't look. So I'll be curious. They handle things like bows. I never thought were going to be done well. Bows feel very good.
Yeah.
Because in this game, it's like it's guns, bows. Bows feel really good. So I do have faith that they will get it right. But again, it looked weird on screen to me.
Yeah. But pre-alpha, they did have the caveat with the pre-alpha.
Yeah, it's like animations I know will get tweaked and they master those things well. But
so the shooting sound was straight up the shotgun sound. Sorry.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I tend to just not question. I don't often give Bungie the benefit of the doubt, but when it comes to weapon design, I gotta hand it to them. So I just sort of am like, I'm sure it'll feel fine. My question is, what is the projectile like? Is it a shotgun blast? Because then I don't really understand what the need is for the melee part. Because the shotgun blast is always gonna be either be better, or you could just use a shotgun if that was your goal, right?
Well, maybe it's something that you build towards to get the blast. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
But why do you need the blast if you're meleeing someone? You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna hit them with a sword, or vice versa. Like if you have to melee to get the blast and then blast them, why wouldn't you just use a regular shotgun? I guess I'm thinking about it on a PvP mindset. It might make sense.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm like, where's he going with this? Okay, I got
you know what I mean? Like if I was attacking someone with a glaive in PvE, a glaive, or sorry, PvP, I just can't see the advantage strategically. I really am just thinking about it from PvP.
No, I understand your point.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they get it together. But to E's point, I actually did think how he thought. Yeah, they didn't look. Yeah, they didn't look clean. But I was like, I'm gonna get you a pass. Pre-alpha, we know when they get busy how they do with weapons. Like you said, I ain't even concerned too much in the least. Just let them cook and do what they do with weapons.
I thought weapon crafting was the biggest announce we got at the entire show. Mostly
I was shocked
because, like Teddy said, like Teddy and I sort of were spoiled by a lot of the leaks. So like, a lot of that was covered in the pastebin, but I don't think weapon crafting was. So that was like a huge surprise to me. When I heard that, I was like, "Whoa, that's wild." Were you gonna say
it was, but not in detail. They actually went into detail a lot more than what they did.
They said it's going to be for all. I was just going to say it's going to be for all. I didn't clarify all Witch Queen weapons and season 16 weapons. And so like that's a pretty decent pool to start. And they said they're going to expand both older and newer as time progresses. So starting relatively small, but it's going to be a system that grows substantially over time.
Yeah. So when they specifically, when we watched the whole thing before the podcast, when they specifically, and other weapons will come later, they showed 2 of the Seraph weapons from Season of the Worthy. They showed the Saw and I can't remember the other one. So basically, these guns that have now been phased out of the world loot pool will probably end up being dropped there. And also Warmind cells obviously now are here to stay because they've kind of reined them in a little bit.
Yeah. A lot of it.
But overall, I think the new weapon type is their answer to people wanting swords in the special slot. For the longest time, people have been asking for that. And that's been like a common request that's come up.
Yes.
Up until recently when the swords got reworked and actually became usable. And I think this is kind of their solution to that, that ask. I also think it's really important to note that they kept it in first person, likely
Yes.
because they don't want 3-peeking anymore.
3-peeking.
Yeah, and they said
We'll get to the try section.
When they announced that way back they were going to get rid of 3-peeking, they said any future weapons will not be third person as a result of this, and if they are, we'll figure out a way so that you can't use it in PvP.
In PvP. Yep.
But then also it's a cool twist, right? Like it's a melee weapon in first person, which is I think something that you don't see often in a first person shooter.
Nope.
Usually, Halo, yeah.
No.
Yeah. The gravity hammer. In a couple of the shots of the footage, they do show blocking.
Yes.
They do show them blocking, and I think that's cool. It's also important to know that this is a special weapon.
Yes.
Yes.
Energy slot, right?
That makes it extra special, no pun intended, because of how compact that spot is. And they've addressed that. They've talked about that too, that the energy slot is way too overcrowded, and the heavy slot too, which is why stasis weapons are in the primary slot now.
Right.
But crafting overall, big plus, because Diablo has the system, and as long as they kind of get it right, where it doesn't cost too much, and my time investment is not crazy,
that's the big one.
That's the thing.
I'm A-okay, because if they make it where it's like vanilla D1, where I have to remember it's level
what I'm worried about.
About the comment, I was just about to comment.
Yeah.
I'm worried that this is just a big replacement for motes of light and like leveling up your weapon to unlock the stuff. And I would just be pissed at. But to their credit, they didn't talk about it like that in the show. They said as like a way for you to like focus farm for specific roles and stuff, which that's very different from what the D1.
They also did make it a point twice to say that you can craft as you play. Those aren't their exact words, but that's essentially what they were hinting at, which is you just play the game and you'll craft a weapon, and you kind of do it passively in the background. So as long as I can kind of the objectives aren't too specific, then I'm totally fine. Diablo does this almost perfectly. Like if they just
watch, they're going to introduce weapon weave as the way that's how you craft as you go.
We go get 8 new jobs.
Yep, you're gonna have 4 new currencies, one that you unlock over time automatically by playing, one that you have to get through bounties.
I'm hoping they learned a little from transmog
retail store to get, and then
you got to go get the Best Buy warranty on your weapon so you can get it. No, it's like the biggest thing for me.
I could see them doing that, man. Do not underestimate Bungie when it comes to botching systems and adding unnecessary currencies and finding ways to make you pay money. Because they'll be like, oh, you can earn these in the game, you can farm them, or you could pay to get the exact role you want.
Will straight up be a mobile game at that point.
Well, that would be that's weapons, bro. That's too much.
Hey, it already is a mobile game if you play on xCloud or Stadia.
You're ridiculous.
I'm with you.
From the inception of Eververse, they've drawn a pretty clear line.
It's cosmetic.
It's cosmetic only. It's not going to affect gameplay. They kind of sort of skirted the line a little bit in early Destiny 2.
Yes.
Up until Shadowkeep with Ghosts, and also armor had stats on it, but the armor always had bad stats from Eververse. That was on purpose. That's kind of as close as they've gone, but to their credit, I think they've done a good job. The grind aspect of things like transmog, I think, is terrible. Though it is a little better this season with the change. I actually did a couple, and it's not as bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
My biggest thing about crafting is I want the system to be enjoyable. Like, as you said, they can mess up a system, they can mess up currency, the time investment, all of those things can be done poorly or done well. So it's like, that's a system, as it is so important to any deep RPG, like a living world that we're going to have. I understand there's going to be some time to it, but yeah, as you said, don't make it awful. A cool thing I did read, there are going to be class exotic exclusives.
Yes, back to that, baby.
So like Hunter, Exotic, and Titan get their own type of exotic glaive, which I'm really excited to see that that's going to be a thing. I'm hoping it's not just like swords where it's like, here, you get one exotic sword per subclass and there's no other glaives. I don't know if that's how it's just going to be, like one for each, or if there's actually going to be a legendary version or anything of that nature. Never, because they seem to always introduce stuff and be like, here's your one, and that's it. But we'll see.
Did they say the glaive?
They didn't do that with bows.
True. They didn't say specifically the glaive was exotic, but they are exclusive. They're class exotic exclusives.
Right.
So I know there are those. I just don't know if they're going to do it like they did swords in Destiny 1, where it's like you have 3 exotics and that's it.
It's kind of the type of weapon where the only way you can make different ones is if it has a cool ability when you shoot it or block or something like that. Otherwise, you only need one I mean, this is kind of the problem the bows have currently.
Yeah.
Basically, the only difference between the bows is how fast you can draw, but that can be compensated for with certain perks.
Yep.
And every bow needs, aside from exotics, needs archer's tempo on it to actually be like usable.
Yep.
So it's really hard to
Differentiate
bows, from each other, aside from the draw.
Yeah, I mean the exotic bows are fun, but yeah, it's like you have a basic glaive, or you have glaives that like shoot fireworks out of the end. So we'll just have to see how they do it. Next piece we have solve the mysteries. They say pierce the line. A sprawling web of evidence lies before you. Shadows nip at your heels as you retreat into the light, only to find the enemy waiting, bolstered by a power it does not deserve. Face the Witch Queen's lucent brood and solve the riddle at the heart of her deceit. So we've got a new 6-player match-made activity. This is Conflict Eternal. I don't doubt that's actually the name. Basically an ongoing struggle for the balance to be maintained in her throne world. And then, so we have one 6-player matchmaking activity confirmed. And then we also have the new raid. Among the swamps of Savathun's throne world lies a sunken pyramid. Alongside your fire team, venture inward and confront the ancient danger imprisoned within. Which makes me think Savathun's not the raid boss.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Which you should be happy.
I
sir.
know, I am. I'm actually like,
okay.
Which makes me think that she hopefully has some ongoing story arc discussion. If she dies in the campaign, I'm not going to be thrilled. Don't tell me that.
I can guarantee you she's dying in the campaign.
Why do you say that?
Because on one hand, they're doing something that they've never done before, and I think they should be applauded for it, which is that they are introducing a villain before we kill her. We're going to have 6 months of hanging out with Savathun before we actually do the campaign.
We're going to get like 10 weeks, but
10 weeks?
10 weeks of this season's story.
This season.
But, you know, they'll do something closer to the Witch Queen. I feel they'll have like a last
and an epilogue.
An epilogue like 6 months after we've already done all the stuff we do with her. So I think there will be that. She must have some involvement in the 30th anniversary. Maybe we'll just forget about her, but I feel like if she's in the background doing stuff, there has to be like some sort of mention. And there might also be surprise stuff we don't know. The point is, it's not, hey, Gaul is here. You're going to know him for a couple hours before he's dead. We're going to have known her for 6 months and also now know that she's been responsible for the last year of Destiny, essentially. So we have a relationship with her going into it. I just don't think there's a way she survives the expansion. I don't see a possible path toward it. The only evidence that she might survive it is that we're still going to get to hang out in her throne world. But when it comes to the consistency of locations, I would not bank on Bungie because, you know, the Dreaming City has been the way it is for like an extra year on top of it. Look at that. I'm spreading it. Sorry, Ebontis. But yeah, I just don't think she's going to survive. Am I crazy for thinking that?
I mean,
I don't know. Yeah.
I would say previously with Gaul and other things we've seen, raid or Oryx at least made it to a raid. But he got a little longer life, I would say. And if she's not in the raid, as big as she is, potentially even in chat's been joking about, like, at some point, we theoretically now have Fallen allies. We have Cabal allies. Would it be possible for us to have Hive allies? She seems like the one because what we learned from Season of the Lost, we're deworming Savathun. We're obviously seeing, we're getting that, hunger away. And all of these things are kind of coming to a point where she is a giant trickster and we know that she's not trustworthy. But on the other side, we're getting to a point where it's possible or she isn't going to be completely against us. To what level, I have no idea, but I think it's more possible the way we're setting her up, at least this time, that she could stay around. That's just me.
Ooga booga. That's all I have to say.
You know what? Normally I would go Travis Ooga booga, but I'm with E. I think this is gonna twist. I'm surprised you say that, Travis, because you literally said what you said about her with the light, and to me, her having the light changes things.
Yeah,
it changes the dynamic. So now I got you, Teddy. So now I'm like, see New Rad, I'm with New Rad here. See, me and you back on point. Like to me,
she's scared of the darkness.
The darkness is still the overarching thing. So at the end of the day, she's putting herself in the best position possible, right? So that's how I look at it. It's like survival through deception. So I look at it like, yo, at the end of the day, we may not like it, but we're going to have to deal with her. and I still say she's around. And the fact that I'm finding out
Why are
that
we killing all
now,
of her guardians then?
good question.
If there was a time to ally with her, it
Mm-hmm.
would be right now, and especially after she gets the light. But if we're going into the Witch Queen with a conflict with her, I just don't
Mm-hmm.
see that. I agree that the Hive could end up being her ally, but I think Savathun has to be dead before that can happen.
So are we theoretically going to pair
Because
with Xivu or Wrath?
we cannot trust her, and I
Right.
think that the Hive join us as like a mob, not with Savathun at the head, because we would just never be able to. How do you trust her?
You have
How do
to
how do
you have
allow
to have
yourself?
somebody at the
Mithrax Mithrax is a trustworthy guy for
Right.
everything else that he is, but like
Savathun,
Savathun,
she got the light, bro. It changes things. That's the key to
But
me.
I was going to
That's
say,
the
if you
whole-
does
the
it change
Hive
her,
will have
though?
like a power vacuum, though. If we eliminate her, you leave Xivu or Wrath, who's already shown to be trying to invade us for some reason, and she's trying. And I don't know what her and Xivu or Wrath's deal is between the two sisters right now. But if we're gonna side
I
with,
think Xivu's dead before this happens. Personally,
again, I have
Really?
no idea, but it's
and there is no power vacuum if you kill Savathun, because who are the Hive going to report to? The Traveler, just like we do. They already have their replacement for Savathun.
yeah, but we don't know if the Hive Guardians, if she steals the light somehow and she's able to imbue it to them. Again, I don't know, but it's like it depends on how they are risen. Is it from her power that she's somehow like acquired or something? Or is it on the other side where are they actually of the Traveler, or are they of her and her throne? Is this all in her little pocket reality and none of this crap matters anyway? Nobody, I don't really know, but I'm still
Good
wondering,
point. I didn't think about that.
like, she may be able to do things in her throne world that are pretty much non-existent anywhere else you do it.
Hey, he been
I
waiting.
did
for
reference
question.
it as a Wonderland. Maybe this is all like Wizard of Oz.
It's just
I had a big dream.
the end of year
and
5.
you were there, and you were there, and you all had the light.
I'm done with Teddy's story.
Ready?
All right, here's my
Let's go.
grand theory.
Let's go.
So, the events of Forsaken
Mhm.
specifically happen and take place so that Savathun can create this loop that happens forever, in which her worm is fed.
Yep.
Mhm.
And through the success of that plan, she's been able to do everything else to basically, without having to deal with the worm problem that all the Hive gods suffer
Yeah.
from.
Right.
You know, we kill Dual Incarnate every week or every 3 weeks if you have
Mhm.
followed the cycle, and that feeds her worm, and the curse resets, blah blah blah, and that's
Mhm.
the wish she made right at the end.
Mhm.
So since then, Savathun's been scheming and doing all these things, and to your point, I think that she realizes that the darkness is the ultimate enemy, and she needs to
Mhm.
ally with us. But in order to do that, she has to convince us that she's not actually tricking us,
Mhm.
that this is something that they need to survive. And the reason I say this is this entire year, every season has specifically focused on, aside from Season of the Hunt, which is Xivu Wrath focused and Hive,
Mhm.
has focused on a race that has been an enemy of ours. So the Cabal, the
Yep.
Fallen, and now
Preach
the
it. That's why I was going. You stealing my thought. Thank you,
and
Kenny.
I don't think we'll ever align with the Vex, because the Vex are just this autonomous hive mind of robots that only have one goal, which is to transform and
Hack
continue.
the system. You can do
Right.
that with a software
Yes.
patch.
Hack the
Splice the
planet!
system.
Hack the planet!
But
We
so
just changed their core desire by turning a 1 into a 0. Okay, they're an ally.
how it
now.
works.
I love it.
So
Continue to speak your truth, Teddy. You in your bag.
this season's hive focused, right? And so what we've seen the last 2 seasons is we ultimately end up allying with
Allying with this. Thank you.
this thing that we've been fighting for 7 years. Like, dude, you know how many Cabal I slayed? in
Blade.
my time?
Yeah.
Or the Fallen. They talk about Saint 14. I'm the real
To
demon.
clarify, I'm not denying that we ally with the Hive. I'm denying that we ally with Savathun and the Hive.
Well, so
That's my only
I
thing.
think over the course of the season, she will slowly convince us that we do need to ally with her, but then she will end up tricking us, which is how she gets the light, and that's why we're still fighting them
Mhm.
in the Witch Queen.
Mhm.
But her goal, and she's said this, her goal is to help fight the darkness, and at the same time, she's avoiding Xivu Wrath, who wants to kill her for some, I'm assuming,
Weird
unknown.
reason.
I
Yeah.
don't know why. And so there's a sort of this conflict of interest that we have, and that's why Mora realizes that that's we need to do this. And that's why if you listen to actually the radio transmission in the helm from her and Ikora,
I didn't get a chance to listen to it yet. Damn it.
they go back and forth a little. I
Tell
won't
me.
spoil it too much.
No. Tell me, give me a gist.
Basically, she's like, I'm trying to save all. Moore is saying, I'm trying to save you all. And Ikora's getting all like pissy and upset about it. She's like, no, you're
Because Ikora's like, you getting tricked, you getting played, right?
Right. Yeah, and she's like, you're gonna end up getting us all killed. And Mora's like, no, I'm trying to save all of you. And we
You're wrong.
that she has this like grand plan, right? Because she schemed this whole thing where Oryx was gonna kill her and she'd come back and get her throne world and all this like crazy stuff. Like she obviously is like at the Savathun level of knowledge or
What's the over under on her not surviving Season of the Lost? Because I think it's pretty high.
Mara Sov?
Mara.
We think Mara's a
no,
boss?
I think she has to survive. She's too big.
They want to bring the voice actor back for one season because she hasn't had any lines since Forsaken.
I like that business thought. I like the business plan.
Well, they did that with Osiris.
Yeah,
too.
but I think this is that season, though, right?
I don't think you can kill Mara Sov between her connection and like she's this weird link between so many different pieces between Crow, now with Savathun, and then her realm that she's got too many connections to this whole universe of Hive and Throne Worlds and everything else. I don't think you bring her in, have everybody drool over her in the first place, and then like I don't think you can get rid of her that quickly.
Think about the business side. Just simplify it. Simplify it, like Teddy said, and E is saying, Trav. From the business side, you just hired, what's her name? Deborah. You hired an actress to play Savathun. That you're not killing that in the first raid, and we're never seeing that again. The intention is to be the
I'm talking about Mara.
Oh, you talking about Mara? I'm talking about Savathun.
I don't think Mara Sov is going to survive Season of the Lost. I think
I'm saying she will.
I'm saying she will because they wouldn't bring the voice actor back for one season to kill her off. The only time they've done this is with Lakshmi last season. They brought the voice actor back so she could die off in one season. I thought that was kind of like, whoa, okay, yeah.
So that's a precedent.
Yeah, but that's one time versus every other time where they brought. Okay, they got Osiris for Chris Osiris. The guy didn't have any lines.
Chav got his wiggle room.
They brought back Aldrin. Aldrin only talked in Destiny 1 briefly and Forsaken, and they brought him back for an entire year. Like I think Mora is like Lakshmi is a minor character. I think Mora is too big of a character to bring back for one season and be like, all right, let's just kill her.
I'm just saying, when it comes to killing off big characters, they never shied away. They killed Cade.
Same thing with Savathun. I think Savathun will die and then be reborn, and that's how she gets the light. And I think that's ultimately her goal. But again, I don't think you get this new voice actress to play the voice for 1 or 2 seasons and then be like, all right, peace out. For such a big character, like Lakshmi is a minor character. This is like, this is up there with the 3.
It's a good debate, though. It's a good debate. I understand where Travis is trying to come from. I agree with Teddy, but I do understand.
She's scheming a little too hard. I feel like there's a good chance that she's doing exactly what Lakshmi did, right? Like thinking that she can outsmart powers that she can't possibly hope to go to toe-to-toe with. And I can just see Savathun just kind of, she thinks that she's about to kill Savathun, right? Like Mara's like, oh yeah, if we get rid of her worm, we're gonna totally have her back against the wall. And we already know that's not gonna work because we saw the trailer, right? So I'm just saying I could see her pulling a Lakshmi where it ends up with her dying off screen on a radio transmission. I'm joking. She'll definitely die on screen. She'll definitely die on screen if she dies. But I could just see that happening where she's like, all right, now we've got Savathun. Savathun's gonna be like, like
you didn't say the magic word.
You activated my trap card situation. So
no,
I don't know.
It's a cool theory. It's a cool theory. It's not out the realm of possibility. I could see a scenario of that happening. I mean, we got to see how this play out, but we clearly know whatever Mara is planning ain't working coming for next season.
Oh, for sure. She's screwing up.
Yeah, that we know.
Or that's all part of her plan, just like with Oryx. She's like the Palpatine of the Destiny universe.
But I mean, like we literally had like Season of the Drifter, and she's like one of the images floating in the clouds. Like the idea of what she's been this like force, out in the universe somewhere. And I still think she's too big of a force. Like as Savathun is as much of a trickster, thinker, all of those, however you want to describe those. I think Mara Sov is deep enough and has enough foresight to know who she's messing with. She's very aware of who she's dealing with. And I think, now granted, something gets us to her throne world. I don't know what that is, but I don't think it's enough to kill Mara. That's the thing. There may be something that goes on.
She's playing like a rookie right now, is all I'll say.
You
gotta admit that, right? And what we've seen so far. Yeah, anyway.
But she literally was like, I know this is not a good, she literally states like, I know this is not a good like situation to be in, but I still think it's the best way for us to get what we, like she knows it's not a good thing to have Savathun where she is and even be working with her. And she's like, she's gonna like sabotage us the first chance she gets. She flat says that. She's like, I'm not ignorant to it. So it's like, I think she's aware.
She did say that. Yeah, she is aware. She's aware. She did say that. I remember.
Maybe she just doesn't care if the Hive get the light because it also hurts Guardians. Who she's not a Guardian. She doesn't care about us. I don't know, man.
Maybe she's the darkness.
Mara is sus, is all I'll say.
Well, now, Paul, hey, Tassie can make new videos. It's Mara watch.
Well, I gotta come for our boy, Wilhelm Scream. I need you to come to the front of the conversation with his harebrained theory. I had to keep hearing every last word this man has been on every party chat I'm in. That Marisov is definitely Savathun. Can we officially put this one to bed?
That seems like it. Yeah, I think we're good.
Yes. I love you though, Teddy. I love you. I love you, Scream. I love you.
Unless, because what if she is Savathun? Wouldn't the best cover ever be like, oh, look, I found Osiris. He was actually Savathun, not me. Hey, you know what we should do is we should help Savathun out and kill her worm for her. I know that it sounds stupid and she'll probably betray us, but it's really our best option right now. Like if you were Savathun saying that, it would be brilliant. But that's the problem with conspiracy theories. It's impossible to disprove them, right? Like you just always come up with an.
You could always come up with something to keep it.
Yeah.
So right, technically he's still in the mix. Scream, my bad. You're still in the mix. You're still in the mix, Scream. My bad. You're right.
Well, as for Witch Queen, if there's been anything else I've kind of forgot, I'm going to go through basically what's included with Witch Queen now when we buy it and touch on a couple other pieces. So Deluxe Edition is kind of the one that covers most of it. I'll get to the 30th here in a second. Not a second, probably another half an hour, but who knows how long that takes. So the Deluxe Edition has a new campaign, and this is actually something I hadn't even mentioned yet. The campaign is, they mentioned the campaign as being on a level of Presage, the exotic quests, and also with higher difficulty options that go back forward. So they it sounds like they're making this like the Destiny campaign compared to anything else. What do you guys think of how they've worded it so far? Do you think like my thought on it's wrong? Do you think this is going to be like the ultimate campaign? What do you guys think?
I mean, according to their own statements, that we're not getting an expansion like Forsaken, and I think we're definitely not getting a second location like we did with Forsaken. I actually was expecting there to be like an old Chicago, and then the Throne World was like the end game location, but I think that's pretty clearly like not going to happen. So
yeah,
I don't think it's going to be. I think what they might end up doing is making the campaign take longer to get through, kind of like Destiny 1 or Destiny 2 vanilla, right? Where there's like those checkpoints where you have to grind in between. So I think they might space the campaign out to make it longer, but I don't think it's going to be as like massive and like packed with stuff. And I think there'll be secrets throughout the world, and I think it'll probably be closer to Taken King, which that's not bad at all, but I don't think it'll be as big as like Forsaken or anything like that. I hope I'm wrong, but just based on what they've shown so far, I'm pretty sure it's just one destination. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be pretty like straightforward in terms of like our goal. Like our goal is to kill Savathun and you know, take down all of her light users. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting so far, but you know how you guys, I don't know if you guys feel like this, but I feel like once I've seen some of a Destiny trailer, I know kind of what it's going to be like to play it. And I remember when I saw Beyond Light, I was like, all right, I know exactly what Beyond Light's going to be like. It's going to be like 8 missions. We're going to kill Aramis at the end. It's going to be like a Forsaken where we kill her underlings and then we hunt her. And then their big sell is going to be that there's the new subclass. Like that'll be it. And it was pretty much exactly that. And like Shadowkeep, when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is going to be a super short campaign. I can just tell just looking at it. And then that was super short. So I don't know if you guys know that, but I kind of feel like I know how long this thing's going to be and how it's going to play out just based on what we've seen so far. Just because I've played so many Destiny campaigns at this point, like we all kind of have a feel for them. You know?
I mean, I will chime in real fast. I would say I agree with everything previously because we joked about Beyond Light, and it was like, we're going to kill her in the campaign and stuff like that. To me, this one feels a little different, though. For some reason, from what I read when there's where's the reveal summary? Basically, the way they cover like the showcase recap, and they talk about there's one. So the Witch Queen is the definitive Destiny 2 campaign that captures the special feelings from memorable activities like Presage and our favorite dungeons that translates them into a campaign experience. For the first time ever, we have the option to turn up the difficulty and sweat it out through legendary mode. So it's like, I guess maybe I might be personally also reading more into legendary mode being their way to give it more life as well. But when they mention things like Presage, there's also like, there's a unique feeling to Presage on itself as a mission. And I think if they can embrace like Regicide for Oryx was a very cool mission. The feel, the music, everything that went into Regicide was special. I'm hoping they at least hit that level and maybe a little bit more. Maybe it's not the destinations. Maybe it's the feel. Maybe it's the quality. Maybe it's the voice lines, the dialogue, the acting that goes all into it that way. Maybe that's how they crank it up. Maybe it's not like 20 missions long, but what's in like the 8 or 9 or 10 missions that you do play is kind of on an epic level and scale. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that'd be good.
Go ahead, Travis, if you have a quick thought.
I was gonna say, I just for the legendary thing, I hope that they don't just crank up the difficulty through legendary as a
17
way of
modifiers
covering up for the fact that the campaign isn't super long. Because that was my like inclination is, oh, they're just adding a legendary mode because then you have to play through all 8 missions twice, and one time takes you like 3 times as long. That was my.
If they do that, then I'll be sad.
So
yeah, me too.
During the reveal, they specifically say that if you like campaigns like Doom or Titanfall or Halo, this will be your campaign. Which, besides Destiny 2 vanilla, none of the campaigns for Destiny have ever been this sort of not cinematic, but you can kind of do everything at your own pace, sort of thing. Like, I mean, Forsaken is a great example of this, where you do the for opening mission, which is obviously where they spend most of their money because that mission,
right? Yeah, I remember
and all that.
Oh yeah.
That's a side tangent. So usually for a lot of like campaigns, most of your budget goes to the first and last mission because the first mission you want to hook players in and you want to make it this awesome thing. Same thing with Shadowkeep, right? The first mission of Shadowkeep is completely different from the rest of the campaign. And I would argue Beyond Light is also like that too. And then you also want to make your last mission.
TV shows are also the same thing. The pilot and the finale.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's where they spend the most money to kind of to keep people hooked, and then also to satisfy the people that made it through. Because realistically, from like an engagement standpoint, I don't have exact numbers, but I've heard developers say this a couple times with various games that a lot of people actually don't make it through campaigns for a lot of games. And so from a like cost business side, you know, you want to invest your money where people are going to be engaged the most. Destiny's a little unique in this aspect because there's so many different things you can do. So there's that aspect. And then sorry, I forgot what I said at the beginning before I went on this tangent.
The Doom comparison.
Oh yeah, so they were
campaign. Yeah,
compared to these campaigns, right? And that's something they generally don't do. I thought it was actually Halo's one thing because they worked on Halo, but compared to Doom and Titanfall, which are 2 other properties that they're shooters, but they don't exactly fit in that Destiny genre. And so I think this campaign will be. It's going to be like the vanilla Destiny 2 experience where you're sort of locked into doing this campaign. And then once you're done, you can actually exit and kind of do the other things that Destiny offers. Taken King, I think, is the gold standard for how a Destiny campaign story should be done because it does this really, Bife talked about this in one of his really old videos, but it does this really smart tiered system where a player can drop off at any point, but each section is kind of geared towards a different player. You have the main story that you kind of sit through and play through. Then you have the post story stuff, which is the Taken War. And then you have the raid. And each point was really great for every type of player because if you're just a casual player, you play the campaign and you're done. If you kind of wanted to dive in a little bit more, you had the Taken War and you could do that. And then if you were the hardcore player, you were building up towards the raid. And I think Forsaken like almost got this right, but ever since then they've never really nailed this. There's like a huge disconnect between the campaign and what you're doing at the end game, and I think they know that because they've talked about this before. So I think this campaign specifically will be very different. Maybe not in terms of mission structure, but in terms of like how we're engaged with it versus the other stuff. Because otherwise, they wouldn't compare it to a strictly single. Titanfall, Halo's different, but like those 2 games.
Where did Forsaken get it wrong though? Because Forsaken had that sort of like campaign you had to finish, and then it had the Dreaming City as like the end game location, and then a raid after that.
the grind was absurd for
the grind to get
Oh,
the
yeah.
talisman, whatever.
I don't think that's going anywhere with this one, guys.
Well, they've the last 2 raids, Deep Stone Crypt and Vogue, they've been very okay with like, all right, you don't really have to play that much, with contest mode and everything. The grind is not really.
Oh,
there.
you're talking the grind to the raid. I was just thinking the grind in general, like end game. The weapon crafting alone is going to be the longest grind ever.
Like, the thing that Taken King, I think, did really smart was the Taken War, which was this like post game. Here's what happens now that you've killed Oryx the first time. And it was also unique because you got to go to all the destinations and kind of view them in a different lens with all the Taken stuff, which was actually rewarding. I remember at the time we didn't have a lot of narrative stuff in Destiny, so that was like another avenue.
That was huge for them.
And they've sort of followed that model with the yearly expansions, but they've never had that Taken War bridge that allowed you to understand why you were going into the raid and that narrative beat. And so I think with this they will achieve that, because her Savathun's Throne World seems like it's going to be a Dreadnought level, if not bigger. Style area where there's a lot to uncover, a lot to do, a lot of quests. They haven't shown any vendors. Usually they show a vendor in the reveals, and they show any vendors. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a hive vendor that we interact with somewhere, and that's kind of the campaign quest area. I also think there is another destination that they're not showing.
Really?
I don't think it's an end game destination, and I'm not saying that because the leak references another destination. I actually legitimately think there is like another destination that that they will use.
Where do you think it is?
I don't know. It's just somewhere. I think they wouldn't do a single destination. Or if they do,
the past 2 though.
Well, I mean, we got Moon and Cosmodrome.
Moon and Cosmodrome.
Well, no, Moon. We did. I'm sorry. We got Beyond Light, so we got Europa and Cosmodrome at the same time.
Cosmodrome at the same time.
Cosmodrome is a free to play zone, though.
Yeah,
they're all free to play technically. But,
it's also definitely not an end game. You don't.
You didn't have to go there.
But it's just an additional space. That's all.
Europa and the Moon are also not end game destinations, whereas like the Dreadnought and the Dreaming City, they specifically call those end game destinations, and they're calling the Throne World an end game destination. So that's why I think there will be like a sort of a Tangled Shore style area where it's this like intermediate area that you're interacting with.
Like it may just be like the swamp area versus getting into her like throne as well. So
it could be, something.
Cog, do you got anything about the campaign, or you?
Just you talking about just in general with the difficulty part?
How big you might think it might be. Is it gonna live up to like that description that I read? Do you think it's?
Yeah, they got their chest out. They talking way too strong. They like God of War. You what you throwing? Yes, I was shocked. I was like, how dare you, Destiny? You throwing yourself in God of War and like they went
God of War.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bro, I was like, okay.
That's one of the games they said. If you like campaigns like that.
If you like campaigns like God of War.
God of War is the game of my generation for PS4. So I'm like, you sure?
To me, they got their chest out. They clearly are excited. Again, this is me seeing Bungie typed with exclamation points on Twitter. So at the end of the day, for you to be talking this strong, you got something you feel extremely confident about. And the difficulty thing was a great thing. Like that was always been one of my issues. One, that you couldn't replay the campaign, which always drives me nuts because I felt a lot of Red War was great. When the cinematics and learning what was going on, sometimes you want to replay that. And then the second thing was the difficulty was way too easy. And you know how we feel about doing missions and killing Zol in seconds, and you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, he's the worm god of this, and he just smashed him out.
And just killed him with an auto rifle. Cool.
Yeah, like it never felt good to be able to
super punched him.
Yeah, like I did all this, and I'm just like, nah, fam, that ain't it. So to me, I love what I'm hearing. I think it will meet expectation. I don't know how long it is. I can't. That part I'm not sure of, but I feel from a quality standpoint, they are pulling out all the stops for this campaign. There's no that you don't even mention yourself with these campaigns unless you feeling real good. So that's what I got. What about you?
Sorry to cut in. They've definitely upped the like storytelling, and they also mentioned this in the in the presentation, they said long are the days of reading lore cards in the game, and that, they evolve. The narrative is now delivered to you in some fashion.
Oh,
Even if it's
beautifully.
Just even if it's just text on the screen while someone's talking through a radio transmission or something, right? Like that's leagues beyond reading it on a page. It's hidden on a weapon or an armor, right? And so I think with this campaign, they're going to pull out all the stops and do cinematics, and you're going to be way more involved, because you wouldn't, I don't know, you just wouldn't compare yourself to Doom or Titanfall, which are linear single player campaigns, if you weren't doing exactly, or Halo, it does the exact same thing, if you weren't doing exactly that.
Yeah, I agree.
Presage does that too, and they say that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are right.
I was like, I would like to be pleasantly surprised, because yes, I do not want to kill anybody in a campaign who's at a god level. Sorry, just not.
Yes, I feel you. Bro.
You mean you don't like killing Zol in a strike? That
No.
You did a strike? You didn't like that?
No, sorry, that didn't feel justified for a hive worm god that's like the size of the Empire State Building swirling around, and I'm just shooting him in the crit spot. So.
Total tangent here. What's always bothering me about that strike is this gigantic worm that's like roaming around Rasputin's, servers and bunkers, and he conveniently misses the gigantic room that Rasputin is in, where his his house that also happens to be like right behind that area that you're fighting Zolan. So just sorry, I had to get that out there. That struck me.
I agree.
You're just saying. That's all. Just saying.
I had to suspend disbelief.
They also finally built a new mob type, and they've only used it there. Like, that's the thing. Every boss is just like a bigger version of an existing.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah,
right?
good point. Yeah.
Even Aramis is just like a Kel. It's like, okay, well, we fought a million of those, but they created like a giant worm, and they only use it one time. Hey, why don't they do that more often, man? Anyway, that's a complaint of mine I have.
Other things in the deluxe edition, we got weapon crafting. We've covered new glaive weapon archetype, new raid, which we know is going to be on the pyramid ship in the swamp. Exotic gear, the 6-player match-made activity. We know those are going to be a thing. You've got pre-order instant unlocks, the Throne World exotic ghost shell, the Enigma exotic emote, legendary emblem, yada yada. Then we get to the deluxe edition. Exotic SMG, catalyst, and ornament. So that will be kind of your season pass. Oh, we're not even there yet, dude. No. Calm down, Cog. I'm not even touching that one for a while. Nope. Put it down. Put it down. Nope. I got one of my theories shot, by the way. Access to seasons 16, 17, 18, and 19. We have 4 seasons. That was one of those things I
told you they wouldn't get rid of that revenue.
I know you said that, but we also said it, for their sake, like, we didn't, it would be nice to see fewer seasons, but they're sticking with their plan. To my giant grinning happiness, 2 dungeons released in year 5.
Yeah,
so it's gonna go
now, huh? You like it now? Does it feel good now?
Of course. That's one of the things I asked for. I got one other one that I have heard nothing about. We'll get to that. But you've got raid in season 16. I'm guessing dungeon season 17, 18. D1 remake raid, which everybody is guessing we know what that one is, and then 19, another dungeon. Like, that is probably the fullest year for in-game content in a long time. So when you got all that information, we have 4 seasons, we have a raid coming back, we have 2 other dungeons. Okay, I got first, which raid do you guys want?
Can I get a Crucible map, please?
Oh, damn.
Listen, somebody in chat also mentioned strikes.
We can't complain too much, bro. We can't.
But here's the thing,
when we get to Charles, we can't.
The reason they told us that a couple weeks ago is so that when we heard nothing at the stream, we wouldn't be too disappointed. They're trying to placate you.
Of course.
Because I bet you
they get the bad news out of the way on a Friday.
Get the bad news out. What's the expression of Trump?
Take out the trash day.
Yeah, rip the Band-Aid off from the jump. So you set expectation to what the hell you ain't getting.
They've been doing this for years now. Where like leading up to a hype cycle, they deliver all the kind of like not great stuff, and then they try to like wrap it up as like this nice thing, and then the hype cycle starts, and most people have already forgotten.
We forgot.
I'm so mad about this thing. Ooh, pretty stuff.
Yeah. Oh, pretty stuff.
We don't because we're hardcore.
We don't because we're hardcore,
and we keep up with the cycles and we know. But like the average person, they've forgotten about that crap.
To your point, Trav, you are correct.
So, which raid do you want, and which one do you expect? Cog.
Come on, we don't even need to answer this. We know what it is. Come on.
What would do? Which one
We
do you
need to answer
want? Which one do
Wait,
you
We know
want?
which one we want.
I can say we, but I actually would guess you on a different one.
Oh, I want King's Fall, damn it! Like what
You always put like Wrath of the
I
Machine.
think I hate. No. King's Fall. I say Wrath of the Machine is probably one of the more fun raids out of all raids. Like, but I don't rank it. How King's Fall is? Come on, yeah. Y'all understand? My Vogue fanboyness does not disrespect the greatness that is King's Fall. I still recognize it as the raid of all raids, a man's raid, right? Like you're in there all day and you're hard mode Oryx. Like I'm never going to disrespect that raid. It's just a fun little thing me and you have with significance and importance and all of that stuff. But nah, it's got to be, and it better. I'll tell you what, it better not be. If they bring that dungeon of a raid back first. Oh, Teddy, don't do it, Teddy. Don't say it, Teddy.
No. Here's my theory. So, during an interview with Kind of Funny 2 years ago, Luke Smith confirmed something that we've known for a long time based on the Jason Schreier articles, which was that the original raid for Destiny 1 was supposed to be a combination of Crota and King's Fall.
Correct.
When you defeated Crota, you were going to go into King's Fall, and that was going to be the fall. But it was too long, and a lot of other things went wrong with Destiny 1 in the beginning, and so they split them up. I think they're going to do that again. I think they're because I think Crota, as much as people want Crota and want it,
if they label it as a dungeon, it's a win.
Yeah, some people are saying bring it back as a dungeon. Some people say bring it back as an extended strike, and then some people are like, oh, rework it to make it a little longer and more fleshed out. I think inherently it's just too short of a thing. And the Age of Triumph version of that raid is the definitive version. Like that is a fun version of the raid. It's not buggy. It works fine, but it's still kind of short. So I think you kind of trim a little bit of the fat off King's Fall, because King's Fall is a pretty long raid. And then you do the original vision where you combine it. You beat Crota, and then like Luke Smith said, you jump into the Oversoul, and then you go into Oryx's Throne World.
I like that.
Bring back.
That's fire. However,
I don't think it's gonna happen, but
business. However, business. And business said, "We gonna sell you that old thing. Now you had it touched up." And we gonna separate this and space out our legacy rotation. You know what I'm saying? That we want to do, but get Trav. I mean, that's what I want to. But I love your idea.
Wrong.
Yeah,
isn't Vogue a free to play raid?
Yes,
yes.
So I think they would also make this raid free to play. I think that. So
but they're definitely not going to spend that much time on it. I think it's Cog's point.
So well, they kind of spend some time on Vogue. So here's something that I've noticed since Season of Opulence. They learned with Season of Opulence that having a strong pre-expansion season is important because it gets your player engagement up, and also making activities that people actually want to grind. Because that was the first time we actually had both those things, and we saw that in Rivals where they made the activity wasn't great, but the grind was there, the engagement was there, the story was starting to delve. And now this season is definitely like all the learnings this entire year have finally come forward. And this year they added on putting a raid in the middle of the year, so we didn't have a Garden of Salvation situation where you went an entire year
without
raid. Because remember in Forsaken we got screwed with the past. So we had 2 raids for that entire year, and then we were still doing these raids even after Garden of Salvation came out. Right. But Garden was the only relevant raid, and so I think they've learned now that they need to have 2 raids, and so the dungeon announcement also kind of pads that out, because every 3 months now, presumably, we're getting a raid like experience.
Fire. Can we highlight that, y'all? Like that is huge. Like I never expected that, and to me that I had got accustomed to saying, you know what, realistically, the one raid a year cadence is probably what they can handle. I did not think we were getting this, bro. That was huge.
So the double dungeon is impressive. I will say the using of older content to do these remastered raids makes it much easier, because if we get to because I mean, you're gonna have King's Fall theoretically. I guess you have Crota, you could maybe do in year 9, and you have maybe Wrath that you can do in year 10. But I'm like, technically they've got enough they could barely space them out to use the old ones and at least have that remaster raid each year. But I was like, I think the bigger thing for me is just the dungeons, because those are not small. They design them to be soloable, then they design like the balance between multiple people. Those are like worlds that they build that have almost just not as much to a raid, but almost for like the art, the world, like some mechanics to them, puzzles. Like the dungeons, I think are going to be each of those dungeons is probably more work than it takes to get King's Fall in.
I agree.
King's Fall's a lot
I
of
agree.
art and systems and functionality that goes with the engine, but like
older
each
assets.
dungeon is they don't do them that often. The fact that we get 2 is surprising.
Something kind of critical to note here is Vault of Glass. A lot of the assets, I'm assuming, I'm not a developer, a lot of the assets were already kind of in the D2 engine in various places. Obviously, there's some new stuff and new looks, and the Vex are new. But with King's Fall or even Crota, a lot of those assets are already in the game in various places or have been in the game in various places. So I think from a development standpoint, again, I'm playing armchair developer here. I'm assuming it's a little easier for them to get that through the finish line than it is, say, like a Wrath of the Machine, where everything in that raid doesn't exist in Destiny 2, or almost everything.
Trav?
My theory, I don't think there's a chance in hell of there being a King's Fall, Crota's End combo. I think that's just too much work.
I don't think it'll happen. I just want it.
I think King's Fall gets remastered, and I think that they add a story reason for why we're replaying it. Either Savathun is still alive. Savathun is still alive, and she's doing commentary, like reliving the time we killed her brother that she didn't get along with, or she's dead, and for some reason Oryx is narrating over the raid. I think they do a little bit more than they did on Vault, because the thing with Vault is it's sort of hard to add story elements to that. A, because it's kind of self-explanatory, and B, because there's sort of a faceless or at least a voiceless enemy. Whereas Oryx and Savathun and the whole legacy of the Hive and the story of the Hive is so rich that I think there's an opportunity to at least like have Savathun do like voice drips in between each of the encounters and give sort of like a story reason, a meditation for why we're going back and fighting Oryx in his throne world. So I think, maybe it's accessible from Savathun's throne world, and it's sort of like this memory that she keeps of the time her brother was dead, or maybe we hear like what she learned from watching us do that to her brother. Or I think they add some sort of like story reason to it, but they just remaster King's Fall. It's the one that makes the most sense given what we're doing in the next expansion.
I was actually surprised, that they didn't include like Praedyth at all in VOG. Like, I knew they weren't going to incorporate
zero story to that raid. It's just like, here's an activity, go.
Right, yeah, and they were kind of upfront about that, where they said it's not really going to tie into stuff, but it happened to be a Vex season too, so I thought, okay, maybe they'll kind of tie Praedyth in a little bit, because there were some missions in Taken King that sort of gave us like a lot of answers to that and closure, and they kind of didn't do that, which I thought was surprising. But also in their defense, VOG exists in like the Legends director, and I think the description for that somewhere, either in game or outside game, refers to how this is like past things that are happening, like it's not technically
like it's not in the lore of what's going on now. That's where I was going to go with
it. That's why
so if they did King's Fall or Crota, I could just see it just existing kind of in a vacuum again, where it doesn't really.
It's exactly what I was going to say. Is basically that. No, just like the way they did VOG is what I expect for Taken King. Be like, hey, this is in the raid, it's free, but there's no connection story, because we've gone through Oryx's story in Taken King, then we went to King's Fall, threw him out into the universe, and kicked off other events. But yeah, I think that will be the one they remaster, because it is obviously the biggest one. There's a tie to Hive. It makes too much sense with the year. But sadly, I don't see them putting a whole lot of narrative connection to it at all, because it's like 3 years ago. I don't know how they actually would tie it back in, unless you're just like, hey, do you want Savathun to put you? Savathun could put you in a dream, but that's about it. And dream is kind of cheap. So I was like, I don't really see a way to do that.
That's their whole DLC idea. It's a wonderland. I just think there's too many opportunities with this one to canonically tie it into like Savathun and have her, like, narrate over it or something. And they did it with Deepstone Crypt. There's narration over that entire that raid where Clovis is talking to you, right? So I think there's opportunity.
But I mean, that one tied in with like Beyond Light's expansion.
So interesting tidbit for Destiny 1, with King's Fall and Wrath, they actually wanted to do audio while you were playing, but they couldn't because of console limitations. And so when D2 came out and Callus talks to you and the Leviathan, that's where they finally got to realize it. And then they've realized that that's also an important aspect of the raid, because you get information and sort of the world building, and it obviously works now. But just a little side thing. So it would be cool to actually get King's Fall if Oryx was talking to us, because believe it or not, Oryx does have a voice actor. He does speak English, well, albeit only a few words, but he does talk. So it would be cool to.
Would
Be cool to get that. If we, assuming we get that right.
Yeah. To me, I'll make sure. Travis, that you said is fire. That's a dream. I hope in the most perfect way. I hope they do that. I do think it's kind of what E is saying, and I think that
you're probably right.
Yeah, I think you know what I think this is. This is literally what me and E used to complain about when we first started, which is like why they don't have a legacy rotation every week of a raid or whatever. I think
that back, yeah,
right. That's what this is. So it's like because the whole theme of this as we continue on was every core thing that most hardcore Destiny players have complained about has been addressed in some form, and the rotation of a raid in some form with this legacy stuff, I think is where they're going, and I like it. But hey, we'll see. Wish for the stars. I'll take a voice actor. I'll take some context. I'm with all that if the budget's there.
Yeah, I'm excited. I get 2 dungeons. I'm pumped. Actually, we get 3. That's and right. The 30th anniversary pack coming out in December, actually, which is now you can do it.
The Return of the King.
The return of not the golden gun, but the gold-plated, ornate rocket launcher of Wolf Battlegrounds. The Gjallarhorn, however you want to say it, is returning with a catalyst as well.
And they did say it's guaranteed from the dungeon.
Correct.
And you got to pay for it.
You do have to pay for it.
That's why it's guaranteed.
So I did want to ask you guys as we get into this now is the discussion of pricing.
Woo.
So Witch Queen is 40 by itself, correct? Then the deluxe is 80, which has
7.
It's 80 on Steam, I thought, right?
7. No, because it's $100 for the whole thing with.
I'm gonna go to Steam. Give me a second.
Unless you get a discount on the 30th if you buy it for 100.
Well, so Witch Queen is 39, the deluxe is 99, and then the deluxe plus 30th is 99. Deluxe is 79, so it's $80.
Wow.
Oh, so they're not giving you a discount this year in seasons.
If you buy it all together. That's cool.
Okay, so that's because usually what they do
expensive.
Yeah.
But also, what did we just say? How much are we getting for our value this time? You're getting 2 raids, 2 dungeons, the campaign. Now, granted, we've talked about the Crucible maps. We only get like, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. I don't know what strikes are.
Don't mention that to try.
I'm saying the whole picture. You get seasons 16, 17, 18, and 19. You get 4 seasons of content and all of this stuff for $80. You think of how many hours you're going to put in over the course of a year into $80?
Obviously, it's worth it. But with the fact that so much of the game is stripped out and replaced with microtransactions, why do we still need to spend this much money? Because think about the armor sets, the ghosts, all the stuff the emotes, all that stuff you can only get in Eververse. It just seems like their model has sort of evolved to the point where it's weird that we're paying for seasons, we're paying for expansions, and then seasons passes, and then side expansions to celebrate the 30th anniversary, and then we have microtransactions all over the place.
In the grand scheme for the 30th,
that's a lot of revenue streams.
30th anniversary, if you buy it separately, is $25. Some people are going to say that's a lot. How much is one set of armor in this game? One cosmetic
$10.
set of armor. Okay.
$10.
$10.
Isn't it 15? Isn't it 15?
I thought it was $15 actually. Yeah.
Okay.
You get a dungeon, you get the exotic, the catalyst, and an ornament, which is a cosmetic you pay for. New weapons. You get the Thorn armor set. You get the Bungie streetwear outfit, the marathon themed outfit, a unique ornament, sparrows, ghost, and other things. So you could buy one set of cosmetic armor for $15, or you get everything I listed for $10 more. And if you buy it as a bundle, it's $5 more than one armor set.
But you're making my point for me. If one set of armor costs $10 and we know they're making money hand over fist with the microtransactions, why are we still paying for expansions? Typically, in a game where you pay full price tag to get an expansion, I would expect no microtransactions to be on the other side because that's how they're getting their money. And now we've got both of those models, and then we've got season passes on top of it.
So
It's just a lot.
I was like,
man.
my guess.
I got it.
My only
it.
guess is because they don't want to go to a subscription, and this is their balance between them. Because if you do a subscription, this is how you support the live service. This you have season 16, 17, 18, raids, dungeons, all the work that goes on is a steady inflow of cash.
That I don't buy that. The subscription model is basically dead because games like Fortnite and Apex are literally free and they just make money off microtransactions and season passes. And they're hugely successful.
Yeah, their player base is also substantially larger than Destiny's. So you have like an NFL release and like you have, a 5% of that population buys a skin. That population is a hell of a lot bigger than ours who might buy a piece of armor every so often. I know Bungie's doing fine because they're building a studio, but also on the other side, they are releasing, they're not just doing like, here's some skins, here's a dungeon, here's armor, here's the other pieces. There's more that goes into each of these. I mean, the fact, like Tassie has said it before, and I think he said it too, like $10 for a season that we get, the voice acting, the armor, the weapons, the destinations, and everything that we get in the $10 season is undervalued. Honestly, like $10 for a season.
I agree with
And
that if
exotics and
microtransactions weren't in the game. Because they're making money from microtransactions. Like there are people who buy all of those, and they've got to be making money off that. So my question, either they value their DLC at the cost that they need it to be to make their money back, or they do microtransactions and sort of supplement that.
Yeah, Teddy,
yeah, what do you got?
So the last point you made, that's where I was going to get. That was my conclusion to what I was going to say. So they're triple dipping. They know that casual Joe Schmo who only buys the yearly expansion is going to pay the $40, and he doesn't care about the DLC. Maybe he'll spend money, or she will spend money on an ornament or something, whatever. And now they've double dipped on that person. But let's say Joe Schmo accidentally bought the deluxe edition. So now he's got all the seasons. So now they triple dipped on this guy. Oh, but now he wants the cosmetic. He wants to transmog his thing, this armor piece, because he played in year 1, but he didn't play in year 2 and 3. Okay. He doesn't really want to do the grinds. Who's going to pay for that too? I agree with you. It's completely icky. And like for us as like people that play a lot, it's kind of scummy.
And let's not forget character boosts.
That too.
Character
boosts. Been going, right? Are they still doing that?
How much of the stuff you guys are talking about is optional?
You get one for free.
Cosmetics are never required.
Of course, it's optional, but the whole point of the free-to-play model is that the optional stuff covers the cost to make it free for the people who don't pay for it. And that's why it's so expensive. That's why it's $15 for an armor set. But like,
right.
It's just like Teddy's saying, it's a lot of dipping.
So I think that
what
Travis said, they have intentionally undervalued the seasonal stuff because they know they want people to buy that because they're going to make the money back on the microtransactions, because they've done the calculus for the supply and demand of their virtual cosmetic item and say, yeah, it's $15 is steep for an armor set, but they know people are going to buy the most amount of that armor set at that price, and they make all the money back tenfold probably over the course of just one season, let alone the entire year. I'm assuming. I don't know.
People also buy season pass levels.
They do at the end of the season. That's another thing.
That's so much. It's just so much, man.
Well, we view it as kind of we view it as kind of, this is like really scummy, but like, I mean, we also play the game an absurd amount, and so I know where this is going. The discussion is like, is the anniversary pack worth the money, because it is a little steep. But the concept of value economically is kind of hard to define, because it's up to each individual to define what value is.
Yeah,
$25 for me is kind of whatever, right? Like I play this game a crap ton. I have like 4,000 hours in this game. Of course, I'll spend $25 on a dungeon and Galahorn of Dur. Like that's not even a question. But I could see this being an issue for, let's say you didn't play Destiny all year. You played Beyond Light. You were kind of like, Beyond Light's all right. This guy Travis reviewed it. It was kind of okay, whatever. Like, and then you see this anniversary thing. You're like, well, I'm a Halo fan, but $25, okay, I'll buy it. And then you buy Witch Queen, and then you buy the next. Like, it's this cycle, right? And they touted on their live stream, oh, we have these 20 million active players, or whatever the verbiage they were using there. You wouldn't say that if you weren't like just raining money in every day. Like you wouldn't put that out there. I also agree the subscription model is completely dead. Like I think that just doesn't work. And so this is their weird solution to an evolving evolving market. I of everyone else. As much as we don't like the systems, I think they're doing it way smarter than everyone else. And I think it's an unfair comparison to compare them to Fortnite and Apex.
I agree. That's why I gotta go with Trav. Yeah,
Those-
you can't
those
compare
are-
them to Fortnite. Like
those
it's
are
not the same.
Why?
competitive experience, whereas Destiny is primarily a PvE experience, where those games are more geared
Right.
towards
And their core
Okay, the
pillars. there's-
GTA Online. GTA Online.
But the difference
Same
is
thing. It's an
you really
online
feel like-
PvE game. They add
Mhm.
content and it's always free. And
but
they make all their money through
they make
microtransactions.
so much money off shark codes and just
Exactly. You don't think Bungie's doing the same thing? Why do they have to charge you for the content then? I just wish that it sounds like we're talking about the evolving model. And I agree, the industry is evolving in huge ways, but it seems like every time Bungie evolves to tweak their model, they don't get rid of the old one. They just add a new one onto it. Like, oh, we're going to charge you for this new thing. Okay, so does that mean we're not paying for the? Oh, no, you still pay for those. But now we're evolving to find new ways to charge you. And I'm like, well, what the? That's not like, give me a break somewhere. Like, there's got to be something's got to give in this model, because I've been complaining about this for years. It's super unpopular. Every time I bring it up, everybody's like, support Bungie. Who are you? And I'm just like,
I agree with you.
I'm just a guy. I'm like you. I don't care about the money either. Like $25 is nothing because I play this game all the time. I'm more just wondering, like, on a model level, like, does this model make sense in any way? And every time I think about it, I'm like, Jesus, these guys are they got to be making billions of dollars off of this, and no one questions them. Nobody goes like, all right, well, we're still paying five different ways, 6 different ways.
Why I think they're ahead of everyone else.
Yes, that's what I was about to say.
I think they have
against the consumer. I mean, they're ahead of everyone else in a way that is not helpful to the consumer. It's helpful to them.
But that's just business. Like
that's what I was about to say. Like, don't we want them to exist? So we don't want them to exist. So at some point.
Okay, but don't we want consumers to have advocates?
Of course.
I'm all good for them making money. Obviously, it's working for them, but shouldn't someone who's on a show about Destiny maybe go, hey, but as a consumer, this sort of feels a little off balance, and maybe it's something we should. Yeah, that's all I'm saying is I want that to be voiced. That, like,
but it's also like
I have questions.
I mean, as old as we are, we also know how much games used to be. I mean, you had an Nintendo 64 game that was $80. Stuff has gotten cheaper somehow at $60. Right. You have a $10 season for Destiny that almost has more content than an N64 game at $80, and that crap was 30 years ago. So it's like you have the amount of work that goes into voice acting, weapon design, exotic quests, exotic weapons, all of this stuff like goes in, and that's a $10 season. Right. And you're telling me if they have a chance, like the stuff you like list is optional. Transmog optional. Do you want to look pretty? Cool. Do people want to do it? Yeah, they're literally tugging at the want to be pretty. They're gonna get after the desires, but I'm also saying it's not required.
Right.
I will grant you it's optional, but are you saying that stuff wouldn't be in the game if it was not in microtransactions? There wouldn't be ghosts. There wouldn't be speeders. There wouldn't be ships. No,
and that stuff
would be.
I was going to say, I was getting to the other
to sell it to you separately.
Getting to the other side of that. That's the balance where I will say they do need, because for me, I'm still beyond like annoyed. Pit of Heresy doesn't have like an armor set, and this actually has a Thorn armor set. So it's that balance of where they said they were going to be putting more stuff in the game, and they haven't done much.
Yeah, I agree with it.
And it's like, and it leans so far into Eververse. If they walk a line between both of these, if I can earn a Throne World set over here, and then you give me the Bungie Streetwear in the Eververse store, I am totally fine with that. If there is the only cosmetics you're ever going to get over there, some of it does need to be earnable. If they balance that better, then yeah, they can throw everything in the Eververse store that they want. You can charge for other levels and other things of that nature. Fine. But it's just like some of the stuff needs to be earnable, and as long as they make that a decent balance for me, I'm okay. But it's like buying stuff for transmog, buying other levels, all those other things, those are optional if somebody has the disposable income to skip steps, and that's usually an option. Yeah. But if you want to put the time into grind, there should be something there. But also, again, it's an Eververse store. You have artists just sitting over there like, hey, we got some downtime. Let me make an awesome set of armor. Cool. Throw it in there. You want to spend some money on it? Cool. But you don't have to. But the balance for me is like the Pit of Heresy armor, like not having armor, and then like the ship and the sparrow were in Eververse later. Those are the pieces that did frustrate the crap out of me, because those should have been in game. If those types of things like the ghosts, the ships, the sparrows are in some activities, but then there's like a beach ball in Eververse, That's the balance that I would like. Cog?
Yep, I totally agree with you. Obviously, I want the studio to be successful.
Yes.
I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to speak up to my poor Game Pass free-to-play player who's wearing a blue ghost and a green speeder and all that stuff he's got to live with.
Respect. No, I feel you, Trav. You know, I know exactly where you're coming from. I think there's validity there. I think, two things here. One, the business aspect, the optional aspect. Two, another part that I feel that we forget a lot is how insatiable we are as a community with the consumption of the content. And where on one hand we say they're making all this money, and then on the other hand we blaze through the content and say it's not enough. They need to be giving us this. They need to be giving us that. And my issue where I do empathize is from a development standpoint. When you talk about dungeons, raids, or whatever, these are time-consuming things. And when you look at the telemetry of it and the analytics, for example, like a VOG and a King's Fall, to me, it always bothers me when they look at the numbers and they see the percentage of people who are not playing that, right? So that's the other thing I have to think about, and from a balance standpoint. And the last point I kind of with Teddy, I don't know. I thought Teddy was going to go here, but I want to mention is we know. I'm with you, Trav, with the triple dip. I know where you're going. You are not wrong, right? You're not wrong.
It's like a 6 times
right.
dip.
You are not wrong. And from advocacy, I got to commend you. Love. You are not wrong. What I will say is this showed me that with this long season coming in, we were like, damn, that's a long season before Witch Queen, right? What this showed me is quarterly, they are not missing out on revenue. like that spot where Witch Queen was supposed to be, they are going to infuse something that you are going to now pay that old model price, right? And they did it for businessmen, a boardroom cog right there. This was perfect. You put the beloved, most coveted exotic weapon in the history of the game. You know damn well these.
That was their ace in the hole that they were waiting to use.
This was masterful business. You have Teddy?
We used to joke with my clanmates that if Destiny ever went really, really downhill, there was a oh shit, hit the Gallahorn button.
Hit the Gallahorn button, bro. That's
literally. For instance, Jason Jones had 2 nuclear keys and they had to insert them. That was a huge running joke, and they had to pop the lids up and look at each other and go, all right, 3, 2, 1, hit the thing. They probably realize that they're like, oh, Destiny's in a good place. We got this roadmap for the next couple of years. We can just give them Gallahorn. It doesn't matter. And I looked at each other and like, all right, just hit the button, man. Whatever, it doesn't matter anymore.
Bro, it's like, all right, here's the Witch Queen final shape. Yo, you see, here's the budget. Here's how much all this gonna cost. How we gonna cover it? Hit the Gallahorn button, bro. Hit the button. They coming in droves. We'll give them some skins. We'll rework a couple of old raids. You know what I'm saying? To some old ass. Ain't gonna be too much work on that, right? And then we'll get E. We'll hit them with some new dungeons. You know what I'm saying? And then that's how we get this revenue stream back on point. We got that studio. What is it? Amsterdam. We got Matter that we gotta make that game, right? So Trav, I feel you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just think the boardroom won out. And the boardroom said, quarterly, we go.
No doubt about that. Yeah.
I will say this.
100% agree with you. I'm just saying the boardroom's always going to win. I think somebody needs to be there to at least be like, hey, consumers, you guys are getting a little squeezed right now on some of these things.
So they have mentioned occasionally on record that they kind of didn't like the holiday release for their expansion, and I think that's just a relic of the Activision model.
Yeah, that was forced to.
And we kind of saw this with Beyond Light, where they pushed it and it still did really well. But we've seen this happen a couple times where Destiny sort of gets cannibalized by other games because it always comes out really early in the holiday cycle. And so I think with Witch Queen, I think ultimately the following expansion after Witch Queen, their goal is actually to push it further into the spring, because what we've seen in the last 5 or 6 years is that games can actually have a spring launch.
Yes, and be super successful.
Because it wasn't, maybe it was like a decade ago. I was going to say it wasn't too long ago, but I forgot I'm old. Games weren't coming out Fridays. They were coming out on Tuesdays. And why was happening because video game developers were afraid of movies. They were like, we can't release a video game on the same day the movie's coming out. That's crazy. And then what happened? Nintendo was like, oh, we don't care. We're just going to do it on Friday. And then Bethesda was like, oh, what if we do Skyrim on Friday? Oh, okay, we could do this on Friday. This is fine. Like, there's no problem with this. And so we've seen this
now. They're bigger than movies by a lot.
Yeah.
Bigger than movies. And then after that, we saw with the launch of Last Generation that games can come out in the spring and totally be successful. It does not affect. I mean, Nintendo put a console out in the spring. That's like unheard of, and it's the best-selling console. So I think they're releasing Witch Queen on the date they are because the date is kind of unique, and that's probably going to play into it because Bungie loves numbers. But I think Lightfall will release like late spring or mid-spring, and that's their goal. And so this anniversary pack just conveniently happened to line up with their shifting, and they were like, oh, extra money, dungeon. Fans are gonna love this. We've had a great year. We'll triple dip on that dopamine and make them pay for it.
I agree. I mean,
I think this is also one last point. I forgot about this.
Yeah.
I think this is also the answer to what we've been asking for since Destiny 2 came out, which is put Destiny 1 on PC, because they've been pretty adamant about when they bring old content back, they want to make it meaningful and purposeful. And by giving us something on the Cosmodrome as well as Galahorn back, it's sort of evolving what we had in Destiny 1. And this goes for anything they brought back, not just this anniversary.
Loot Cave 3.0.
Yeah, literally.
So
yeah, fair enough.
I don't think they'll ever do D1 on PC. And frankly, I don't think that PC players deserve it. We had to suffer through the D1 stuff. They don't just get the final version straight out the gate.
I love it. It's hilarious.
So I think that is most of what I've got. Did anybody nab a collector's edition, by the way?
It's already done.
I did.
I
waited 1 hour in that queue.
Oh yeah. We good.
I got to the front of the line and I was like, nah, this ain't it.
I just did the
I
collectors
don't like
without
action figures, man.
Yeah.
I have the original.
I did the $100 digital version. That's
Oh no, actually, me and you did the same thing. Oh my fault. Okay.
Yeah, well, I did the collector's edition of stuff without the game, and then I'll just go on Steam and buy the PC copy. But yeah, I did I'm getting the Hive Ghost.
Salute.
That's just like
I'm just gonna crush them in the game. I don't need to crush them in real life too.
There you go. Too strong. Just all right. Well, here's a question. We're at 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, we didn't even get to the joint. We gotta make a business decision on something.
This
will be a 4-hour podcast if we don't.
Here's a question.
Yes.
We don't know how much other stuff that we're gonna get into.
Okay.
In between now and next week. This is obviously big into Witch Queen. 2 hours and 40 minutes later. We still have Season of the Lost, but we're only a weekend. We have the Trials information, which Trials still won't launch until
September
10th.
Yep.
So we've got another week on that one. And also we have the TWAB with Void 3.0 and all of that other stuff.
Right.
I don't want to steal. I was going to say, I don't want to steal the discussion on some of this stuff, but is there anything you guys want to save for next week or versus talking about now? Because as you said, it would be a 4-hour podcast and it's long. This is Witch Queen hype. That's why we're here. But also, I know there's other topics. Is there any specific one, Teddy, as our guest, that you want to discuss more than anything else? Are you like hot on Trials, hot on the Season of the Lost, hot on the Void 3.0? Is there anything that you want to touch on maybe so we can keep this within 3?
Let's talk about Trials. I know Travis is probably itching to go there. I would personally prefer to talk about the
I was just gonna say,
but I think
I was gonna say Trials and Season of the Lost are the least time sensitive. But if you want to talk about Trials, man, I'll talk about Trials with you.
I'll talk about Trials because I have some opinions on this, even though I'm not really a PvP player.
I got one more. I Trials. You know I'm all. Come on, you ain't got to pull my own and talk about Trials. I did want to talk about the Void, the 3.0. I did want.
Okay,
it's probably the most time sensitive. Yeah.
Yeah,
we're gonna be here for a long time. Okay,
sweaty.
how about this?
Anybody else sweaty?
How about this? Can we possibly do this in 2 episodes? We can keep recording now. We can do part 1 and part 2 as videos, and almost like if you guys want to take a little intermission right here, then we can get into the other stuff. If you guys have to sleep,
I technically can't because I got something waiting on me after this.
When do you got to be done? Like 7 minutes?
I was supposed to be done a while ago, but I ain't stopping this. This is fire.
Well, that's obviously a weird way to wrap up a podcast, but also like if you got time constraints and stuff, that's what I'm trying to respect, because we're almost like, I mean, we've been on this thing for basically 3 hours. That's why I was like, is there a time potentially you guys would want to just like do kind of an off-air one, like random Saturday morning, or who knows, just a chat about stuff, and then I can pop it out later?
What about this? Even though I know the 3 PvP mains here, right, and trials, don't you think we could kind of breeze through the trial stuff for the most part? I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you.
You guys want to just hit trials real quick?
Breeze through trials, do void subclasses next week, and then everything else, or?
Well, I know, Teddy, you wanted to say your stuff on trials. How about you say your stuff on trials?
Yeah.
And then we can let that marinate for a week and then extract more later on.
Agreed.
The only thing I really wanted to say, overall, I think the changes are really positive, and I think they're finally, in a lot of aspects of Destiny, not just the new trials rework, they're finally approaching Destiny in the mentality that I've always, in my head, I've wanted them to approach it at, which is let people play the game they want to play it, and also let them make it rewarding, right? Like when trials launched, it really did not reward your time adequately, and Destiny's done a really good job in the last year of for the most part, not in every aspect, it's rewarded your time properly for the things you're doing. Unless you're me and you want like the absolute perfect thing, then in that case it's not worth the time. But like for most people, it's getting there. It's finally getting to that point where things are approachable. And Trials has one of the big problems that Trials has had is the population problem. Crossplay sort of solves this, but the inclusion of the freelance playlist and also being able to solo queue, I think, also does. Will there be issues? Absolutely, 100%. Like that is I think it'll be even worse than raid LFG stuff or any raid solo matchmaking that could ever possibly exist, because it's a competitive game mode versus a PvE game mode. My only real thing I really want to touch on is the skill-based matchmaking. Bungie has never gotten that right. Even in Halo, they never ever got it right. And we're already actually seeing some PvP players are reporting negative effects of some. They believe there's some background SPMM that was adjusted this season, and it's going back to the old way where they're only playing the top tier sweaty players. Right. And trials they've shown in the past, so unfortunately I don't have faith in them to get this right. I'd love to be proven wrong though. They've shown in the past that if they do SPMM only, or they weigh it towards SPMM, the connection sucks and it's not a good experience. And if you have a solo, like imagine you're duo queuing, like Travis and I are playing and we're getting a solo queued player, and the connection is terrible in this lobby. That solo queued player's experience, they're never going to touch trials ever again, or likely never going to touch it again. Not that Travis and I would ever probably duo queue in trials, but you get my point, right? Like that could happen. That's something that likely will happen because it happens in comp. Like if you solo queue comp outside the freelance playlist, you can possibly get that duo queue. And I think that's an area that I think SPMM just needs a complete rework, and they need to be really transparent about it. This last year where they essentially removed it from everything other than comp, I think has made PvP a much more enjoyable experience. And so to see it kind of come back in what I assume is its original form, because they haven't specified, it's very I'm not okay with that, but everything else I'm pretty happy with. Like it's the new leveling system, the new reward system. It's a smart it's a way better way of doing it. I will say too, adding additional perks to the weapons is kind of iffy as well, because the weapons already had kind of a lot of trash perks. But you know, whatever. Beggars can't be choosers at this point. Just something new, I guess.
No doubt. Trials.
It was like with relation to like just the matchmaking. I want to go a deep trials conversation because I know I can open up. Travis, I can open up for about 30 minutes because I listened to your part of Fireteam chat, and you're gonna go a lot deeper. So for now,
yeah, I'm not even gonna touch on it today.
I was gonna say,
you
like,
guys know, if you want to know like my early thoughts, watch Fireteam chat.
Yep.
We did an episode this week, but I'm not even gonna get into it because I have a ton of thoughts here, and I don't really think I can condense them into a small one. And I've talked enough this episode, to be honest.
I was like, we'll get it next week because I want to go deeper on trials over the all the stuff that they're doing, because it is major. But like with regards to matchmaking, COG, Travis, do you guys have any thoughts about skill-based matchmaking ever being around? Yay, nay, hate it, love it? Just kind of, that was Teddy's main piece.
It could be good. I don't think it's been good in Destiny. I don't think it will be. And matchmaking and trials I see as being a pretty big disaster in a lot of ways. But that's just
Yeah, I
it's
think
just
a lot
my
more go
yeah,
wrong than the positive.
exactly. I think they could have fixed most of the problems with trials without adding matchmaking, and I think matchmaking is really gonna sting a lot of people. So that's my feeling on it. But
Cog?
we'll go more into it on a deep dive.
Yeah, next
push
week, most
back.
likely.
Yeah, pretty much. I actually agree. I actually disagree. I feel that at the end of the day, the overall population in the game is more important. And I think at the end of the day, regardless if it's not going to be perfect, it's going to be flawed. You need people playing this mode, and that's been the problem. And they can't get people to play the mode. And I think part of it is, one, the flawless or bust mentality. Two, the solo queue for a guy like E and trying to get people together. The casual person is just too intimidated to for the most part to do it, and then when they get pub stomp, they're out. So, and I think you just need to pool better. So, look, I know we could go. We could go. I know
You can add you can remove the flawless or bust without adding matchmaking. I should specify like that. They're not mutually exclusive. You can make it more rewarding.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it
next
week.
Literally, I can't comment on anything.
I know. This will go. Last point. Damn, I was going to say something else that was completely different that I wanted to mention, but I forgot. So it is what it is. We'll get it out. But interesting choice to see. I remember. Curious to see with this change. I know Teddy and Trav don't like. Will this open up Nightfalls in the same manner? Because now, as far as
those need it too. Yeah, those need it.
Right. Because if they're going there, is that the precursor to the? I'm just curious. That was it, and we'll revisit this trial thing. Yeah, another time.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting discussion. The whole skill-based matchmaking thing. I've seen it from both perspectives of every match is sweaty versus having somebody get stepped on, some casual games versus the other piece. A lot of the skill-based matchmaking, depending on how it's handled, of course, and connection, like, is connection important? Is it not? Also usually comes from the perspective of the person who's talking about it, because somebody doesn't want to be like, oh, it's connection-based every time. Cool. Well, I suck and I get stepped on every time. This kind of sucks. On the other side, is every match sweaty? There's always so many debates on that one. How it's handled is one thing. I still wish they would do like some type of ladder ranking system, but that's a whole different thing for another day. Just actually show, for one, progress that you could work on, and two, kind of type all that stuff showing. But overall, I don't know too much when it comes to the skill-based matchmaking. I played a little. I was stepped on most of my games. I think I had 2 wins and like 5 losses that were rough. So the couple games that I did play, I'm not sure where I stand in all of that. Maybe I'm just rusty, which is also possible. But I think what I generally saw for trials looks interesting, but also like Outsanity in chat, he said, I'm not going to lie, with these changes, I may dabble in trials. And I think, as Cog said, for the population to give it a shot, you have people that would never try it in the first place, I think. And I think some of the changes, for me, the one that I hope actually stays the most is freelance. And we'll talk about that more later. That's the one I think that actually can, as a separate node, like if it's team only and freelance only, I think that could be at least something that's worth trying. And we'll have this debate next week, so that'll be a fun one.
Last point, remember they added and for the record, I'm with y'all on connection base. I'm with y'all, actually. Don't think I'm not. For the record, they added the paid. You gotta have the expansion.
That yes,
that's we wanted that, y'all.
Well, no, like, that's
paywall for the free accounts to keep not making. You know what I mean?
Anti-cheat paywall, which we asked for before trials relaunched. Then account recoveries, also they went after. Like the security features were big. That worth a mention for sure.
My point is the 4 or 5 changes they made that weren't matchmaking probably would have solved most of the problems.
Okay.
Adding matchmaking adds a ton of potential problems. And to Teddy's point, I think there's going to be a ton of problems, which I will monologue at you.
Yeah.
So if you guys enjoyed this show, wherever you watched it, on your audio platform, Iron Lords Podcast YouTube channel, Ebontis YouTube channel, or just popped into the live stream, wherever you found this, tune in next week because it's going to be a spicy meatball next week for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But for now, we probably should be wrapping this thing up. Been a whole lot of Witch Queen talk. We still have, as you said, Void 3.0 we haven't discussed. Season of the Lost, we'll get a little more kind of meat to talk about next week, which will be good. the time gate is obviously a thing that makes next week a little bit more to talk about there as well, because I'm gonna have my opinions.
And not just the Vex's time gate.
Indeed. And there's Travis for you. But man, Teddy, thank you so much for coming today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolute blast, of course, having you on. But seriously, like, thank you for coming, spending the time, and of course your opinions. You're always kind of bringing a good level head, but also amazing knowledge about this game with way too many hours. And the perfect triumph score is still, well, maybe not right now, but it will be.
It's my greatest and worst achievement in life. I'll say that.
You're going to frame it when Destiny retires that triumph score for this game. You're going to print and frame it and cry every time you walk by that picture.
My goal, actually...
That's cute. You think they'll retire it.
Destiny 3, the triumph score continues. No! Triumph score continues.
I probably will stop after Nightfall, depending on what they do. Obviously, I need to see what happens.
I mean, Final Shape.
Or Final Shape, I'm sorry. But my goal, I've said this before, I think to all of you, my goal is to take all the pins and the title pins that they release with each title and just frame them and kind of just put it up on a wall somewhere and, kind of do that Thanos thing where I can sit on the sunset and look at it and go, I've accomplished it. I'm done.
You sitting overlooking that? Okay.
Have you bought all the pins?
I have bought every single pin.
I was like, that's your Infinity Stones. You just need to
I also have, they've released similar pins at like various events like PAX and Guardian Con, and I also have those as well. And so those will
Teddy,
go. I'll make a collage somewhere.
I will make a gentleman's bet with you.
Oh.
$50 bet that you are not stopping after the Final Shape because you don't.
He said he was stopping after Nightfall. I was like, how do you not play Final Shape?
He said that erroneously. Erroneously.
Oh, okay.
I think you're a lifelong slave, an indentured servant, and you ain't never getting out of this game. You're gonna be here till the grave, my friend.
Till dawn comes you, your family.
That's the only point where I could potentially step away and be done with this curse that I'm burdened with every season. To get every damn triumph in this stupid game that I love, but like it's just there's a lot of calls, but
I'm with Trav. You ain't leaving.
You ain't leaving.
You're in the cycle of the dreaming curse.
If you get a decade of your life into something and there's more of it, you're gonna see what happens next. That's You
know what this is, Teddy? This is you. You just got shot in the war, and you're talking about how you were gonna open up that the
shoe store or
got back home. Yeah, and I'm like, don't worry, buddy, you're gonna get back.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
I'm just lying to you as I watch your guts pop out of your stomach, knowing you ain't never opening that shop.
Oh my god,
that's what's happening right now.
This got dark real fast. Anyway, Teddy, where can people find you and what do you do? Better question. Where can they find all the stuff that you do?
You can follow me on Twitter at TeasingTeddy. I think it's on the stream somewhere.
All over the screen the whole time.
I'm usually just posting memes and trolling Travis or someone I work with. That's really all I use it for. I don't really stream. I am planning on streaming probably at the end of this year, maybe next year. That's what I have this. I don't know if it's on stream, but this thing back here somewhere. I'm actually gonna build Legos. That's my ultimate goal. But that's like I gotta settle and get all my stuff together. But thank you for having me. This is always super fun. It's always good to catch up. The family. We got the family.
It's the fam.
Just need to put Dom driving by in the top.
But yeah, we could do this all day. Like this
all
could be
day.
a 24-hour stream, man.
Yeah, literally. These four people right here on this podcast could talk for an extremely long time about this game, and the fact that we're all friends too helps.
Yes, so cool. I love it. I mean, when Teddy was here, I was like, "This gonna be golden." I get some vintage Teddy and Trav banter. I was like, "Oh, this gonna be fire! Great topics." But Teddy, you always kill it, man. I gotta give you credit. Love your analytical nature. And I don't mind doing an intro for you. Forget Trav.
Great. Yeah, it's always been fun.
Travis is dead.
Who's holding?
You get an intro anytime you come through, man.
Teddy has earned his royalty. Travis just bought his.
So if I call you at like 3 a.m, which is 6 for you, can you give me an intro? Like if I'm feeling really depressed, kind of just down.
Introducing.
There we go.
There it is. He's like, hey, I'm getting ready for like my marathon run. Can you give me a hype speech right now? I need it.
All I need though, now there's no excuse. Crossplay. I need my batch made trials carry.
Oh hell no. You're not getting that from me, Cog. You won't even introduce me to your friends, much less introduce me on the show.
I would just do that on Xbox. You don't want to play with the PC people.
Oh, okay, yeah. Have y'all tried it? Have y'all tried mixed matchmaking yet?
I just did crossplay last night, and it's not that bad, but I can see it being kind of bad in like a competitive environment. Iron Banner will be like a good litmus test.
A good litmus test, yeah.
If that comes out before trials, to kind of see how it's going to work. But I think at trials, PC players, it's way too sweaty.
Dano said, "Great intro, guys." Let's
I know.
No
podcast. Now we joked at the start of this thing, be like, "All right, 5-hour show, intermission in the middle," and Travis did the voice, and we're literally at the point you could do that tonight.
It could easily be a 6-hour show right now.
We are. I don't honestly know if. No, like in the grand scheme, I actually don't know if we have a guest next week. Teddy, if you're around, I may just ask you to come back for round 2.
Bro, facts.
Part 2?
Yeah,
164, 160, like somebody said in anime style, like 164-2X version 3.763 or something.
Yeah, unless he doesn't want to break his 21 episode tradition, because that's been the math.
It's still the same episode. It's just part 2.
The same episode.
Yeah, it's still part 2.
Yeah.
Also, we already messed that up.
Like, we broke it.
We broke it.
Yeah,
you did the intro, and I was like,
no. But I know we broke it, but it's still basically it's every 21 episode. Anything past 21 episodes. That's how I
can't be sooner.
That's how I mentally put it. So once it can't be before 21. We have to get him after.
Next week will be part 2.
This is also the first time you've had me at the beginning of a season. You usually always have me at the end of the season.
End of a season.
So we're speculating and kind of like wrapping up.
Because you're the closer, Teddy.
Well, yes. Cookies are for closers.
The headliner.
That was salute, Teddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Travis, what do you got coming? What are you keeping up with? What are you playing that you can talk about? Of course, you're always doing things you can't.
Yeah, I can tell you what I'm playing this week. I think I'm reviewing the new Man-Eater DLC, Truth Quest for IGN. You can read that on IGN.com. I think it'll be up on Tuesday. And then I'm also reviewing something. Can I talk about this?
Probably not.
Exclusive.
I heard things.
I'm doing a preview of a MMO game, the DayZ zombie game. There's some stuff going on with that game that I'm going to have live early September, which I have to dig into.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cog, what about you? What's 17? You got your lineup of like 17 podcast schedule for this week?
I don't even know how I'm awake.
I do. Advanced GG. Hashtag Ebontis 30.
Bro,
as he flexes.
I don't know how I'm awake. Be like, it's these right here keeping me awake.
Look, bro, it's been. I knew this week was gonna be crazy. Gamescom. You know what? It's one of those, as geek, you're like, oh my god, geek overload. But as a content creator, you go, oh my god, it's Witch Queen and Gamescom on the same day. It's Gamescom live the next day. Then it's like Defining Duke 4-hour with Jess Gordon and Sacred Symbols. It was like this week was nuts. But this is kind of the one I was most looking forward to because this was the homies. I'm like, this is the homies, so I could chill. E got me, we good, you know what I'm saying? So this one was funner to do in a way because it was less work and it's just, the passion for what we got for this crazy ass game. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was. But yeah, I'm almost there. I got one more thing to get through, and then I kind of got to take a little downtime for me other than that. But no, it's been good.
Tomorrow, all of it. Yeah. Just sleep.
But
what's downtime?
But see, I know what's that.
Yeah,
but I gotta play Destiny, bro. Like I got to play. Like I got to get in there and do more.
Have you not even logged on yet? Really?
I logged on. I
know he logged on because he high-fived me in the European Dead Zone. He added me on crossplay, and he's like, he's also cameoed in a video because I was like, oh, hey, there's Cognito. He joined my game. Anyway.
Oh, you said it while you recorded?
I literally
that's
was
fire. I gotta see the
recording
video.
because I was doing the Ascendant Anchor locations on the patrol
Yeah.
for EDZ, and I'm going around. I'm like, oh, Cognito's in there. Well, let me do this, and I'm gonna go say hi. So it's like literally in the middle of a segment. I'm pretty sure I'd have to
It
go
was
look.
like,
Cog, you gotta add me. You gotta add me on the
yeah,
Bungie name.
you gotta give me your Bungie name. Yeah, I got your Bungie name, and both of you, I gotta get your Bungie name. But it was just kind of like,
I'm on. We're friends on Xbox, so you'll already
Yeah,
have mine.
yeah.
But I'm not connected to Cog at all. We're not friends on Steam or anything. So
we're
I've gotta
friends
add
on
everybody.
Xbox, though. We're friends on Xbox. We're just not friends on
Yeah,
Steam.
so you and I already are on
Yeah,
each
we're
other's
already-
lists. I'm not on any of his lists. So
Oh,
like,
I
just
need to. Yeah,
Yeah, that
we'll
you
just
gotta
drop
make
them in the
that.
Discord later on. We'll get them all in there. So
Yeah,
easy.
no, but other than that, like I said, it was fun. I had to do it. I had to do the Osiris move. I had to break time and space to get to my boy. I had to go through all the crossplay that I saw.
You had
I was like,
navigate the literal world's internet just to find your way into my game and high five me.
that's it. That I had the what is it, the companion emote, the dual emote
Yep.
ready, and we did the fist
Yeah.
bump. I was like, we good, boy. I had to do a tradition, and it's so cool to see your name with the Steam icon on the list. Like, that is so cool. And shout out to the fanboys that on Xbox that whenever they see a PlayStation controllers, they go extra hard. It's fun in PvP. It's good to see. But this was dope.
I dabbed on some Stadia controllers. In
Wait, I haven't
PvP
seen the
this
Stadia
week.
logo.
I was shocked. It's a little Stadia controller.
I'm never gonna see
I
all
was
that
just
stuff.
like, oh my god.
Wait, there's
Yeah.
not the S as their logo on the thing? It's not the S?
Yeah, I thought
I think it's a controller or
I
something.
thought
That's
PlayStation was
PlayStation.
the controller.
I
The
thought
S
PlayStation was the
is
controller.
Stadia.
Yeah, the S is Stadia. I haven't seen the Stadia user yet.
There's 12 of them. It's gonna be kind of hard.
I could have sworn. Yeah, there's 12 of them.
If y'all see one,
Maybe there were
screenshot.
some
Yeah,
PlayStation
no,
guys.
wow.
All I know is that they were having some trouble in PvP, and I was just like, "Who are these guys?"
Yeah,
and I saw a different
welcome
logo,
to
and I was
real
like, "Oh,
reaction times for everybody else. Sorry, it's called
Oh, yeah.
yeah."
stream
That's
delay.
all
We
like
didn't,
that.
we didn't even talk about the controller changes. That
We didn't even. I know we didn't even
that
get.
are
It's so
just
much.
so
Part two.
good.
Episode
Part two.
164, part 2
Yeah.
will be
Part
next
two,
week.
Next week.
Same
Next week
time,
with Teddy.
same bat
Yep.
channel, same guest as long as we can sneak him in here again. He's
I don't think I got anything going on. Probably not.
Oh, no.
it works because we're gonna have a little more to talk about. For me,
you got?
yeah, keeping up with this stuff, trying to orchestrate my games of what's coming up. I got done playing like Grime and beat Death's Door. I beat Death's Door in like 8 hours. That was actually pretty quick and fun.
Nice.
But yeah, just like trying to plan ahead because I'm waiting on a 4K 144 hertz monitor. I ordered one and just
Oh,
literally
flex.
like waiting to get here.
Flex.
I don't have a 4K TV in my house. This is my first 4K display. Yeah, flex.
He flex.
Like I out
You see
there.
my scrawny arms? I'm like,
You're like, it's in there. Hold on, it's there. Because I'm waiting to play Final Fantasy VII Integrate, Ratchet and Clank, and Death Stranding because I want them to look that good. And I knew it was like, I know this monitor's getting here, so I wanted to see them how they're meant to be played. So
Okay.
I've been waiting on some of those things just to like see them how they're meant to be shown in 4K, and that's what I'm waiting on. So when that stuff drops, I'm like, okay, now I got to plan all these things, then Elden Ring, and then Horizon Zero Dawn. I have 4 days to not sleep and then play Witch Queen. I'm like starting to like plan out my year, and all of a sudden it's getting busy. So it's going to be interesting to say the least. But honestly, yeah, we are basically, this is intermission. Go enjoy your week, enjoy your weekend, and we will come back for part 2 to talk about deep discussion on Trials, Void 3.0, anything else that we didn't think about, and Season of the Lost, which we haven't touched. But if you guys are looking for guides for that, Lost Sectors, collectibles, anything, check out my YouTube channel. That's what I'm working on right now, mostly.
Flex.
But for this episode, for part 1 of this episode, August
Intermission
26th,
has now began.
you know that would actually be a really good place
Please
to cut it.
Please get your concessions.
Like, don't even do our outro because really it's like part 2's next week.
Thanks.
I'm willing to do that.
You want to do that?
I'll
All right,
do
well,
the-
guys, this
the-
is going to be
the
part
outro.
2, intermission. We will finish this whole discussion next week. But at this point, Travis, take us out.
Intermission for the last word has now began. You have less than 7 days to grab some concessions, use the bathroom, and take care of any personal phone calls. Please remember to turn off your phones when returning to your seat. Thank you, and welcome to the last word.
Fire.
Oh, that's
That was
beautiful.
fire. That was fire. I gotta give it
Only time we're ever going to do that with a part 2. So, Travis, that is absolutely beautiful. I don't even, that's
You better
amazing.
follow it up.
Yeah, I can't
So
even
great.
follow that up. Matt, stream tonight. Thank you guys very much. Chat, you guys have been on fire. Greg, please feel better. Recover, drink fluids. Just make sure you feel better. He said he's home with COVID, so please. New Rat, of course, always holding it down. Thank you, Dano. Everybody in chat, don't mask. I know you're saying more than half of everybody in here. And for anybody who's listening and not saying anything in chat, also, thank you for just being here and listening. It's been an amazing one. Thank you all very much. Part 2 next week, same time, same bat channel. Might be just as long. God only knows, but we will see. Have a good one, y'all.